Whew, what a mess. We gotta get set up. A little late. The computer was all janky. So, let's go over here to YouTube and ask them to play us a tune for a second here. Not that tune. Not that tune. Thank you very much. Alright, we'll go down here. I hope you're doing well on your Saturday evening. If you got a game going on or something like that. Let's get just a little bit of music and I'll get the lights up and maybe there's a good one. Oh. Hey Billy, how you doing? Oh yeah. Let me turn this up. I was gonna do a hangout, wasn't I? Alright, let's do that. Let's do a hang. Let's make sure everything's rocking and rolling. Well, something's working over there. Yes, I'm live streaming. I'm going to be doing a hangout. And I'm going to stream my model building. We're just going to do all the above on a Saturday afternoon. Or if you're in the UK, evening. So, hangouts. Now, if you want to participate on this hangout with me today, that's available to you. DCC++. Oh my goodness, man. You just into trouble. So the deal with this live hangout today is that if you want to participate, you gotta go over to facebook.com to the Modelers Guild group. I'll put the link to the call into the group, and from there you can join. Well, actually, I'm going to start with a link to the live page so that if people want to watch there, and then underneath if they want to participate, because I think that's how people want to do things. So we're gonna go. Oops. Okay, let's do the desktop so you guys can see what I'm doing here. So we're gonna put in here www. Oh no. I just woke up from a nap. Breaking out the cobwebs. The laptop was all full of the sun's Roblox and all that jazz. So I had to restart it. So that was the first trial and tribulation. Modelers Guild Live. If you want to watch, oops. If you want to participate, Okay, I reserve the right to kick your ass out. This is a PG show. And that's hopefully the last time I swear. So that's the way it goes down. Modelers Guild on Facebook. I'll put the link up in your chat so that you guys who are watching can watch. I hope you've seen. Let's change this around. We'll get over here. Back to the way we used to do things. And then when somebody hooks up to the Hangout, I'll do that. Let's get my cam set up. Well, my cam's being taken care of on the yeah, I can't use my cam twice. Hey, I got it. I gotcha. I'm not going to change it. But I can do this. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to take tripod off. There we go. And then we're going to add a monitor capture, Hangout. We'll go to the Hangouts video call, inner window, boom. Hope and pray. Come on, you work. It's not working. The plan today is to do a live stream and to have the I put the links up. If you want to come on the show, Jason, you can. If you want to watch the show, you can. All the links are over at the Modelers Guild Facebook group. What I want to talk about today is our home in miniature land. Did you watch the video? I've got these kits. We got somebody on.
Hey, it's Jason.
Hey, Jason, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
Pretty good. How's your camera coming along?
Well, it is all set up and ready to go. Obviously, you can hear me, which means the microphone's working too.
Right on, right on. So, right on, Billy. If you want to take care of the chat moderation, that'd be cool. If you want to come in the call, that's cool with me too. You might be doing double duty though. I don't know. I had the experience of a lifetime 2 days ago at our home in miniature land in Mississauga, Ontario. I'm going to be talking about that today. And I'm going to be building a kit. I got to figure out how to make this all work though, because something's not happening right with this Hangout thing.
Yeah, I got nothing, Ron.
What do you got? Nothing.
I've just got your pretty mugshot on my screen. That's it.
Yeah, that's okay.
Well,
for me. I'm trying to get the Hangout window to show up, but it's not jiving with me.
Oh, I can jump on the other link. I just didn't know what your plan was today, so I figured
I don't know what my plan is either. My only plan is to get on early enough so people in Europe can watch.
Gotcha.
That's the plan. But you know what? I'm just going to do full desktop, and we're going to do this. That's probably going to work. Can you see the chat and the Hangout?
No, if I just stay on Hangouts, all I see is your
okay
screen.
Okay, that's cool. Then I can talk. Then no, that's cool. Okay, so now Oh my gosh. Every time I do this is a freaky stuff. You got my volume on over there, I see. Okay, now we're working. Yeah. Right on. Okay. Now you got my video, right?
Yep, now I'm good.
Okay, Billy, you're cool there. That's good. That's good. So, now, Billy, how's my screen? Is it looking okay? I gotta fix that. Edit screen. Oh, no. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting it. I'm getting it. I got it. Don't touch it. Hands off. Okay. Right on. I did the lawn today, so I got allergies. And it just means my skin's crawling. I just thought there was a bug on my arm. I've been straight since the 90s. So just to get things started, oh well. Jason, how long is it going to take for that printer to come in?
Oh, it's. I don't think the scheduled ship date is until the right after 4th of July.
Okay, no rush. No rush. Believe me.
Well, yeah, you say that. I'm ready to get going.
I hear that too. I got a whole other huge project that should be. There is a bug on me, for Christ's sakes. He's gone. I got like the Old Bay District project with the old carnival, which had my rocking my world, inspiring me to no end. And then I got all these kits coming in. And then I got invited to go to our home in miniature land, which kind of look how messy my desk is, for crying out loud. So did you get to see that video of our home in miniature? The big layout that I went and visited?
Yeah, I did check that out. That's pretty sweet.
Holy smokes. That was unbelievable.
One day we can hope for the same, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a closed exhibit, but it will be an open exhibit, hopefully by the end of next year. Like he said that he has to be somewhere by the end of 2018 for sure. He's hoping to be in somewhere in the end of this year. And I'm hoping that I got a full-time gig doing it.
Yeah, that'd be fantastic. Hey, I got a question on this whole live stream and Hangouts and
Go for it.
So you're currently you've got a live stream up and running, which looks like there's a lag.
Yeah.
With Hangouts, and I don't see that through Hangouts the chat will sync up.
True.
So if I mean, obviously people, I'm assuming, can hear me.
Yeah. Well, no, I'll repeat the chat to you if that's.
What?
Yeah, I should be the one who repeats that. But you can watch the live stream with the audio it muted, and you can watch the chat 4 minutes behind. That sounds like
but do people hear me when you're live streaming?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's just that when you talk, it's going to be 4 minutes later, or and so it's 4 minutes later for me too. You're no later than me when you talk. It's just that your chat's going to be janky. I get the live stream chat.
So when you and I are chatting, we're 4 minutes ahead of what the live stream is producing?
Yeah.
Okay.
It goes up to the
odd.
It goes up to the cloud and gets crunched to all different sizes for all different devices and goes all over the world.
Okay.
I think so.
Because I'm watching the live stream and you're building and talking about something.
That was 4 minutes ago.
Oh my gosh, I'm in trouble.
Well, we can just talk on the Hangouts, and oh, you just okay. Oh, yeah, I get it. I thought you dropped off the call, but I just pulled off the screen. So if you have a screen share to share, I can pop over to you easy, like you. I'll say, hey Jay, how you doing?
Gotcha.
Right?
Okay.
It's a little bit more janky, but you know, I had a special guest coming on today, but he had you know, he's a little bit older and he's not really a computer nerd like me. So his computer all went out, but we would have been talking to Michael Paul Smith today.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, that would have been awesome. So that probably happened next week because he's really keen on doing these kinds of things, and it's probably better that we kind of work out the kinks before he gets here.
Well, that's what I'm just wondering if I don't follow on the call and just hang out in the Google Hangouts, obviously.
You can do that. Hey, look at that. I got it all worked out.
I don't see how I can turn the volume off. I've got it turned down, but I don't want to turn my speaker off.
For the
There it is,
YouTube
got it.
video. So in the YouTube video, if you
I
click,
found it.
okay,
I found it.
yeah. For anybody else, it's the little speaker icon. Instead of using the slider, you click the speaker icon, and it'll go right to mute. Okay, so in the chat, we've got Billy. We've got 3 people in the call, or not in the call, watching the stream. Welcome. Tell us where you're from. I'm interested in that kind of thing. If you're from Europe, I want to know it. And if you are from Europe, share the call to somebody else because we're doing this for at least 2 hours. Well, not you, Jay, but me. I'm on the line.
So you're the only one on the hook for 2 hours.
Yeah, I got a model to build. It'll be a couple hours to finish that one, but
Well,
since we
I
got
figured I'd join in for a little bit today because I'm at work, so good opportunity to test out camera and the voice recognition before we get plowing with SketchUp stuff later and next week and so on.
so well, while we're at it, like before I get into the model, you've got your cam set up and it's not working. Do you have it turned off on purpose?
I don't. Where the hell are those settings?
Up on your, you go up to the right about right here. There's a little cog in the middle.
Yeah.
Now, if you hit that cog, the top one will say video, and you should be able to find your camera in there.
Yeah, it's listed.
Okay. And now you go done, and then down at the bottom of the screen, right here, is a little camera. Click that on and off. See if that works.
That's off. Well, that's off, and then that's on.
Okay.
Off. On. It's not doing anything.
Okay, last thing. Up in your address bar, the URL bar, is there an X on the far right?
No.
You might have to give it permission.
Well, I got a camera up there. This page, accessing your camera, allowing, manage media settings. I hate taking up your live stream time.
Oh wow. No, I'm teaching people, really. Let's just tell ourselves that we're teaching people.
Yeah, it doesn't say anything about, I mean, everything's checked for.
It might be just another restart waiting to happen. Don't worry about it. You're at work, and I'm not going to take up your time anyways. So, the kit I've been working on is a multi-kit project. There's 5 little structures in it from Carolina Craftsman Kits. So I've got maybe there's 4 structures. The it comes out to be a fairly big footprint. But, you know, they're on the waterfront, so I'm painting them all different colors. And the one that I'm going to be doing today, I braced up earlier today. And I'm just going to paint it yellow. All except for this piece that doesn't have any bracing on it. And I'm going to, I have to glue that in before I put any ink and alcohol or paint or anything on it, because this is the kind of piece right here. If you ever see a piece like this and you don't have bracing on it, you're going to ruin it. So, what do I got here? Hello, Patrick. How you doing today? Okay, so I think I got some dingies coming from somebody. Okay, we're all good, I think. Just make sure everything's all good. Yeah, so Michael Paul Smith was going to come into the call today, but he's having lots of computer problems, and he didn't want to do things live the way I do. So we'll do... Oh, goodness. There we go. Almost forgot that I can't check around without showing everybody what I'm doing. So yeah, so I'm trying to find interesting colors for this beachfront thing, and these models are going to go on to the Old Bay District 2 project. And I was thinking of using yellow and yellow walls and the red for the windows and doors. I got some bleeding through coming through. I don't know. Seems good. Okay. So this call is open to anybody who's come on since we've started. The link's available over at modelersguild.com. You know, Jason.
Yes, sir.
If you want to mute your mic, and then when you want to ask something, just unmute yourself and ask it, and then you'll still be able to hear everything that's going on. And then if somebody comes in the office, I'm getting a little bit of bleed through.
Okay, I'm trying to figure it out.
It's all good. I could deal with it. It's just that you're a champ, so I can ask you to do these things.
I'm a nerd when it comes to trying to figuring this stuff out. I don't know what's going on.
It's all good. So earlier on in the week, thanks, Patrick. Says he always enjoys my work. Thank you. I look forward to meeting you. He's a local guy to me, Jay, which is pretty neat. So earlier in the week, I was live streaming the first structure in the kit, and I said that I didn't want to use ink and alcohol on the walls because the pieces were so small. I was going to do it after I put the paint on, and I did put the ink and alcohol stain on it after, and it does muck up the paint a little bit, but as you can see on the corners, I don't know if the video's all that well. Maybe I should get the video a little closer here. Let's try this. Okay. So now that's a little bit better. So as you can see around the side posts here, it's a little mucky. You can see the little gray, the stain from the ink and alcohol stain sitting on the post, and that's because I put the stain on after I put the paint on. Now the other way to do this is to stain your wood, and what that does is kind of gives your wood a gray look and doesn't muck up your paint at all. And because I'm going to be using yellow as my major color on the walls and possibly red on the windows and doors, I don't know just yet what I'm going to use on that, but I want to get that ink down on the wood, so I had to brace first. Now you really have to brace this wood. Now in the very basic, the old days of George Selios, he would say to brace with the corner. He'd say to take these the small 16th inch square boards and to glue them on the sides, and that would hold your wood grains as long as your grains were running horizontal, because you want to hold the ends of the grains. All these grains run from side to side unless they've been cut in the middle, so this should battle against warping. But that's not really my style. I like am totally right on, Billy. That's not my style. I do a lot of mucking around. Sometimes I decide to do things differently after the fact, and I add a ton of water sometimes, and I don't want to have warping in any way whatsoever, especially if I paid for the kit. You know, so these get lots of bracing. The wood, this kit comes with lots of wood for bracing, and I brace them up. There's not any skin off my back, and because this piece doesn't have any bracing on it, it's so small, I've got to use side bracing. I'm going to do it after the fact, and I might even, like, I'm not going to paint it in the same session as all these other pieces, because I'll ruin that piece of wood unless it's been braced. And that's a for sure. Like this, the wood grain is running horizontal, and if I took this middle piece out, it would be only a 1/16 or an 1/8 of an inch long each grain. 100 grains there or whatever. Strands of wood, I guess. Strands of wood. And that would warp. And it won't warp this way. It'll warp too big. And then it won't fit in the door no more. You know, so you know you screwed up when your piece is too big for the structure itself. So I already put nail holes in this with a Ponce wheel. Ponce wheel looking like this. Now I didn't put nail holes in this structure. The only reason I didn't put nail holes in this structure, I was thinking to myself, well, am I going to notice nail holes in these structures, and I leave one with no nail holes? And then, you know, I could say, well, I'm never going to do that again, or what's the point in doing nail holes on all sides? You figure these things out by experimenting. And if you learn anything off of me, please do experiment. But after you brace. So ink and alcohol stain, I've made a video on it. And I've had a number of comments from people over the years saying, oh my God, I can't believe how much ink you put into the stain. I don't know. Nothing you can do about it. Now these boards have been have the nail holes in them, so once I put the alcohol on, those nail holes are going to pop right out. But the reason why I put so much ink in my stain is because I'm not interested in doing 2 or 3 coats. And often when you see a model railroader magazine type of guy, something say make your stain, he wants to make it so you don't make no mistakes at all. But at the same time, he's going light on the instructions just so that a newbie doesn't screw up their work under his watch, you know. And I think that if I tell you that you have to brace, and I spend 5 minutes telling you how much you have to brace, then you're going to find out that, you know, you can do all this stuff that I say. Because I like I told you how I do it, and I rock these pieces up with stain, and I only have to do 1 coat. Oh, I hear the kids. You gotta be careful of the kids. They're not like the wife. The wife, you say you're live streaming, and the wife runs away. But the kids, they's a little bit different. The kids are like, oh, really? You think I'm scared of that camera? And they jump right on. So Patrick out there in, I think it's Chatham Land or Wallaceburg, I hope you were able to see the Our Home in Miniature Land video. Chester.
Hey.
You know what? Michael had computer problems, but welcome.
Thank you.
He emailed me about noon today and said that his computer was just all gone to crap. And he went over to a friend's house to be able to email me. So
I can't quite understand why I'm able to do this Hangout thing. If you remember right, I couldn't get it to work last time. Oh, I just clicked on the Facebook link and here I am.
Here it is. So how are you doing?
How am I doing? I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
I'm doing. Yeah.
What did you ask me?
Huh?
Oh, I'm building a waterfront kit here from Carolina Craftsman Kits. I think it's got 4 structures in it in a wood dock. So it's gonna look nice on the old Bay District. So that's what I'm working on. You working on any models lately?
I've got a Model T fire truck sitting on my bench right now.
A Model T fire truck in HO scale.
Yeah.
Right on.
That's about it, really. I just came in from cutting the grass, and I thought I'd see what you were up to.
That's what I did this morning. Yeah, I was saying that I'm allergic to grass, so every time I go out to do the grass, I take my antihistamine, and I come in after and I have a beer. Because that seems to fix...
Sleep.
That fixes that. Well, the sleep, I can't sleep when I take antihistamines for some reason. I don't know what it is. But after years of falling into the trap, that's the way it goes down, I guess.
Well, I wish I could see better. I'm looking at the finished product on the right there. What did you use for paint?
Acrylics.
Uh-huh.
Acrylics. And I've been learning something, actually, that I'd like to share. I mixed this paint up. Can you see that paint?
Yeah.
It looks well mixed, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, this paint has been sitting on the desk for 3 days, and I mixed it with alcohol and water, and it's still super mixed up. And you know why that is?
How come?
Glycerin.
Oh, nice. Yeah,
This
good idea.
this glycerin stuff kind of attaches to the paint, and it really mixes the stuff up. It just like usually when I would mix paint, like I wanted to get a certain color. I wanted to make a stain for this wood right here. You see how you can see the wood grain through it really nicely?
Yeah.
Well, that's I wanted to make it so that it was mostly alcohol and water and just a little bit of paint. So that's the way it looks now. And that's because of that glycerin stuff.
I'll have to try that.
It's
My brother-in-law makes biodiesel, and the byproduct of it is pure glycerin.
oh
So
really?
I have access to gallons and gallons of the stuff.
Well, this
And
stuff is
I need
clear.
to-
I don't know if yours will be clear. I don't know. Yeah, that'd be great, wouldn't it?
That's interesting. That would. Does it change the properties in the way it is applied, or does it change the viscosity, or how does it?
It makes it
How's it behave?
it makes it milky, but it doesn't thicken it up. So it is a full stain. It's a real stain. Like this wood is. I wish I could get a real nice look at for you. This camera
Yeah.
doesn't focus as I get closer to it, so.
I see.
But like you can see the nail holes, and it's wonderful. And I've never been like. This is the first time I've ever been able to make a stain out of acrylic craft paints.
Yeah.
Right? So it started out by learning how to make the thinner out of 50-50 water and isopropyl alcohol. And then the guy said you put in glycerin as a flow aid. And
Oh.
so what I
wonder
think...
if any. I wonder if the commercial flow aids would work. Because I use them in my work, the Floetrol and Penetrol, both, to thin so that I can spray.
Yeah. Well, I
wonder
wonder
if
if they have glycerin in them.
I was just going to say that. Now you got my curiosity piqued. I wonder if it has glycerin in it.
Yeah. Because I've taken old craft, your craft paints when they get all thick and unusable, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
I was taking my thinner and throwing it in there, and it's got a unique smell to it, right? Well, once I started smelling you got to sniff the paint once to see what it smells like. I'm not doing it a lot. Acrylic paint won't get you far anyways, but it smells like Tamiya paint.
Huh.
Yeah. So I don't know if that's
Okay.
what they use commercially, but just putting that out there, I guess.
You got my curiosity piqued now.
That's what I do this for.
No, believe it or not, I get no smell from my Tamiya paints.
Oh, you don't?
No. Well, I take those inexpensive craft paints and I mix them with Windex.
Yeah.
Now, I guess there's some kind of it may be alcohol. I don't know what, but there's something in there. It does a nicer job than water.
I think it would be mineral spirits.
No, the latex craft paints
Oh.
and
Oh.
Windex. You know, the glass cleaner.
Yep. The ammonia in it, maybe. I don't know.
Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, I think we talked about that before. I use the Windex to thin paints for washes too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, a lot of the diesel detailers and weatherers, they use they like to use Windex in their to make things I don't know what it is. It probably keeps it from running.
Well, it has. Oh, it's. I'm not sure what that property is that makes water bead up. but it eliminates that.
Oh, okay. So the viscosity or the water tension.
The water tension. There you go. Yeah. If you use Windex well, I make stains too for wood out of the Windex and acrylic paints.
I should try
But
that.
usually I'm thinking of when I do a wash on a model, a truck or a car.
Okay, so it would be a different kind of stain though than a wood stain, like for my purposes. So yeah, I hear you. I don't know if I like that.
When it comes to wood stain, have you tried that India ink and alcohol?
Yeah, yeah. I got a whole bottle of it here.
Yeah.
That's what I used on the base of the wood here to make it all dirty like. Now I used it on top of the wood on top of the paint on this one, and it kind of stains the paint a little bit, but
Yeah.
and I was going for that on this one just to see the differences in the same kit kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
yeah. Yeah, it would have been nice to get Michael on tonight.
Yeah.
What about those other gentlemen? Maybe we should talk privately about it, but those other gentlemen we were talking about trying to get into a call. Ken
The other
Ken
people I see
Hamilton?
down at
Ken Hamilton and Chuck Doan.
oh yeah. Oh, that would be wonderful.
It would, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
We just got see if I contact them, is they don't really know me from a hole in the ground. They probably think I'm that guy who's always spamming stuff. Yeah, did you get to see that video that I put out yesterday about the big layout with the
No.
Toronto Sky Dome?
I did not. I'm sorry.
Oh, you should check it out. There's this an exhibit I went to see. It's a closed exhibit, and it's got like the CN Tower and the Sky Dome, and the Sky Dome's. It's a scale Sky Dome, but it's in an HO scale layout, which is crazy because the HO scale model would be twice as big.
Yeah.
But the roof retracts. It's all electrified and everything. The layout's got $1 million put into it at least already.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy's a Bay Street. I think he worked on Bay Street, which is kind of like Wall Street in Toronto. And he's got like some of the nicest modelers and university kids and just a lot of people working on it, and invited me down to go down and check it out and try to get me to start building models. And I told them all you had to do was email me and tell me what to do. I'm game.
Yeah, I'll bet.
But it was pretty cool to have people come out and meet me and do tours and introduce me to everybody. It was awesome. So
Yeah.
I made a video of it. You can check it out later if you want.
Yes. Okay.
So you paint everything before you put it together.
Oh yeah. I can't keep in the lines. Like the corner posts. I gotta paint them separately. Otherwise, I'll make a mess. So yeah, and I even do that for the Jordan kits. I've only built about 2 or 3 vehicles, but I do that with my vehicles now too because I really can't. I haven't figured out that trick yet.
Oh, well, it's mostly lay off the coffee in the morning. That's my only good tip for that. And
Yeah, shaky fingers.
Yeah.
Do you do much masking?
Very little. Only if I'm going to do like a two-tone paint job on a truck. Maybe I may mask off some of it.
Oh, okay. Now, do you use tape or
Yep.
the?
Basically, just regular painter's masking tape. Yeah.
Yeah. Huh.
And the secret to masking, if you're changing colors, is of course paint your base coat, then mask, and then hit it real quick with a light coat of a clear,
Okay, seal
and
it
then,
in.
and then go to your second coat, and you'll find your second coat won't bleed under the tape at all.
I see.
It's so hard to mask 187th scale vehicles. It really is. It's very difficult, in my opinion. I don't have good luck doing it, but that's why you don't see too many too many
Two tones.
two-tone vehicles behind.
That's a good. No, that's wild. So you paint your base coat, then you do a clear coat, then you mask, and then you paint your second one.
No.
Oh.
Do your base coat. Your usually people like to do their lighter colors first.
Yeah.
Then you mask. Then you do the clear coat
Oh.
over the mask, and then you do your second coat. And what happens is any bleeding will go under the will be the clear coat that goes under.
Yeah.
And then your
So
finish coat does not.
the clear coat kind of transitions over the tape and kind of covers the hole.
Yes.
Oh wow. Genius.
Yeah, that's a large scale modeler's trick. Actually, I learned that in high school when I worked for an automobile body shop, and the guy showed me how to do that. But I never thought to apply it to my models. I saw it on a website once about building models, a 1/24th scale model.
Huh.
Yeah. So,
What a great idea. Cuz
Yeah.
that's one of the I know it's going to happen every time I do it.
yeah, it's a challenge. I know. Especially in the small scales like what we do.
Yeah. And fixing up those disasters are so frustrating.
Yeah. I don't know. Once I get a model together, though, the detail painting on it is part of the fun for me. I like doing that. I got some really, really fine bristle brushes. They're like 3 bristles to the brush, and I love doing that. I love getting in there and doing a detailed job on it.
Mm-hmm.
This Model T fire truck ought to be entertaining because I'm going to paint it all the red.
Yeah.
After I get it together, and then I'll go around and I'd like to find a good bronze or brass color to do all the fittings this time around. Instead of silver.
Oh wow.
Do the gold or brass looking the headlight rims and stuff like that in brass. But finding a good paint that's got a good, that doesn't. It's hard to find metallic paints that are, give a good finish.
Yeah.
I think.
It was really it's really the clear coat after that gives it the shine.
I do have a good, like a chrome that I can use on trucks, but you have to spray it separately. Like if I do a bumper or something, I'll do it, and it's called Alclad 2. And they make a variety of colors. They make stainless steel, aluminum, chrome, and they even do a lot of the paints that are used by aviation modelers. Like they'll have an exhaust pipe color. It's kind of like a burnt chrome. It's a real nifty color. I wish I could use it on trucks. But you have to spray it with an airbrush.
Oh, I hear you. So it's like a straight silver though, and it's not speckled.
Right.
Oh, I see.
Yep.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. I've seen paint cans like that a couple of times. At my buddy's shop, the Alclad stuff.
Yeah. And I just bought a pen. It's called Liquid Chrome. The company is called Molotov. And I saw it used on a couple of things from other people, and I was kind of impressed with the way it looks. And it really does give a brilliant uh, reflective chrome color, but it's a pen, and it's like a rapidograph point to it. So doing a large area, I can't get a good I
Oh,
can't get a good look to it. I can't. It's kind of spotty. You know how when you brush something, if you got a wide enough brush, it covers the whole thing in one swipe, and you get a nice smooth finish.
yeah.
This you have to kind of color it all in a little bit at a time, and go back and forth and back and forth, and you don't get a nice smooth. The chrome, I don't think it looks good. I'm not that impressed.
I wonder if you could cut the tip with a set of scissors or something like that.
Well, I was thinking about that. I was thinking about putting it, like, just kind of dabbing it till I got a puddle of it, and then applying it with a brush.
Ha!
I haven't tried that yet, but I may yet. This right now, it's good right now for doing lights and small pieces, but like if you're doing a large expanse, the chrome just doesn't come out nice and smooth.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, enough about metallic paints.
I still got to try to find that. I want to purchase some of that cream paints, the milk paint.
Oh, the buttermilk paint.
Buttermilk paint.
Yeah.
I want to like I've got there's a barn next door that is one of those barns that has the clapboard up top, but coming down the last 6 feet coming down is just plain old barn board that's it's see-through, so that the wind can go through it, so that if there's hay in there, it doesn't get too it won't start on fire or anything like that.
Yeah, it dries out. Yeah, ventilation. Yeah.
So I want to use that buttermilk paint on those, like you said. I also tried that vines technique. I don't think I got the same vines as you got.
No.
What was that called? You said emperor vine?
Old man's beard.
Old man's beard. How the hell did I forget that?
Yeah. It's crazy. It's just the finest of structures that I could find in nature to replicate in our scale.
Huh. Yeah, I'm interested in trying that out. I'll have to find some. Like I made it with some moss that I found in the bush. It looks pretty good. Like I put superleaf. I ended up putting superleaf over it at the end to give it that final texture. But it was a little bit too thick. A little bit too thick. And I'm trying to figure out what my secondary colors is going to be on this structure.
You got kind of a real light yellow, right?
Yeah. I was thinking about this red. I don't know if it's going to work, though. That's why I'm going to pull this out and try to test it out. I used deep red on another structure. Now this kind of looks fuchsia. I don't like that. I wonder, I don't want to do white for all the windows through the whole thing. I want to get one that's kind of different looking. Might have to end up Go ahead.
Yeah. Somebody just wrote salmon color. That's what that looks like. Yeah, salmon color.
That's a deeper red. That looks like it would probably work. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, so go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say, I'm about to drag my compressor back in the house so I can spray
Okay.
and get something done on this little fire truck. Maybe I don't know. I
Well,
had somebody give me several kits from. I mean, these things are ancient. They're Jordans,
okay.
and they're so old. It was back when Jordan first started selling kits. They were selling them. They sold them in bags. You got them in a paper bag,
Oh.
and some of these kits came in the paper bags.
Oh
And I
my
looked at
goodness.
the prices, and like the one kit that the Fordson tractor that Jordan makes,
Yeah.
the price tag with the hobby shop sticker on it still was $1.50.
that
So
was
they're
definitely
old.
sitting on somebody's shelf for a while.
Oh yeah, the boxes are all turned a brown from with the boxes that I have are all brown from sitting around and dusty and yeah. Yeah, guy gave me about 5 kits.
Right on. Well,
And
if you're gonna pop off to the side, mute your mic, and then go and you can listen along if you want, or pop off, whatever you want.
I'll tell you what, I'll listen along because I'm going to slide over to my bench here and
Just mute your mic though before you go.
do what?
Down in the bottom middle, you'll see the microphone and mute your mic, or I'll mute it for you. There you go. You got it. Right on. Now that you moved, I see a little structure in your background there. Yeah, I'm decided on this, and I think Billy's right. After I get a little bit more grime on this yellow, it'll probably look real well right beside this deep red. So it looks like we've got about 10 people watching. If you are... No, 4 people watching. Yeah, right there. Everybody's on the Just Another Scale Modeler channel. You like that channel, don't you? I got a question the other day privately on Facebook. Sorry, Harry, I wrote your name wrong. Why do you stream to all these channels? Well, an interesting point of it is I can't really do it right here live, but when I look into the analytics of my YouTube page on Just Another Scale Modeler, 60% of the viewers are all over the age of 40, which is pretty historical. But on my other channels, the Ron Perry channel on YouTube, has 60% of the people are under the age of 50. And very little are actually above 60. So when I'm making these videos, I want to cater, like I don't want to be famous in the hobby. I want to share my tips and stuff like that with people so that, you know, grow the hobby, right? And if I'm reaching people of a younger age on both of these channels by doing this, then that's right up my alley. Like, I realize that my patron supporters are mostly going to be the older people on the Just Another Scale Modeler channel, but that's really not the focus that I'm doing it for. I think I'm misunderstood in some ways. So I'm definitely going to be doing 2 coats on these with the red paint because I want it to get real deep, and painting on plastic really doesn't work with 1 coat. It's best to do 2 light coats, or do as put a coat on, put some sealer on it, and then put another coat on so it just sticks real nice. So if you like what you're watching on these videos, you want to participate on the weekends, I'm going to be doing the show kind of this way on the weekends so that people can come in and chat. And then during the week, I'll do my live streams or something like that. And I've got an interview to do tomorrow afternoon with Leo Politi. And he's a fantastic modeler, but there's one person who's even better than him at modeling, and that's his wife, Lori. And she's going to be on the call. We were going to do the call on Monday, and then it was going to be on Tuesday, and each time Lori got pulled out of the house, and Leo was like, well, let's do it now. And I'm like, well, no, Leo. Let's wait for the old lady. Well, Lori, I didn't call you an old lady. I'm sorry. And do it on purpose. And I got Leo all set up on the camera yesterday and all this stuff figured out. And tomorrow evening, after the live stream, I might be able to do an interview with somebody else that I'm gonna keep his name private until we make it go live, because he's like probably the best in the hobby, and I just can't believe that he'd be wanting to talk to me, but he's interested in it, so we're gonna do that. So I've been really busy with this content lately, and I think it's just fate telling me that, you want to stream, you think you got it all figured out, eh? Well, I'm going to give you more work. And one thing I really hate to do is to fail, so I'm trying my best to do everything all at once. So I got to really let these pieces dry so that they can allow a second coat to come in, and that's not going to work. The interview tomorrow night is going to be with a gentleman who weathers engines and rolling stock in an ultra realistic way. And what he's been doing recently has been making photographic props to be photographing his work. And I'm telling you, you see what he's like, from going from engines and rolling stock over to building these scale scenes to photograph those trains on. It's just unbelievable to see him just look like he's been building like that forever. And I think that's really, when you're in the hobby and you I'm not gonna change anything. When you're in the hobby and you switch from one hobby to another, or you switch from one scale to the other, one thing you really try to do is try to bring the techniques with you. And he's done so well with his work. It's just like he's been doing it forever, like moving from engines and rolling stock to structures and scenery has been like just amazing. And like I'm interviewing some large scale modelers who are doing super realistic scenes, and the techniques that I'm learning from them, I'm really trying my hardest to try to integrate them into my HO scale projects, which is super hard in one way, but in the other way is it's like if you're inspired to do something, you're gonna find a way to accomplish it. And that's true even if you want to like even if the quality lessens a little bit, it's gotta lessen a little bit when you go to a lot smaller scale. Now this plastic right here is I know this ain't gonna catch paint at all, so I'm gonna spray it with some matte medium, or not matte mediums, clear matte spray. Where are my tweezers? I'm gonna do it off camera though, because if I spray anywhere near the desk, it's gonna get on the camera. Just a light coat will do it. We'll give it a couple minutes to dry. This section right here is a card tip out for the structure I'm building right now is called the Soggy Dock Bar. I like it. And what I was supposed to do with this is this comes with wood or paper bag material that I gotta paint black. I'm gonna paint it grimy black, which is a black with a little bit of gray. I don't know if you guys been on this week, but my daughter was out and about and she saw this knife, number 11 blade somewhere, and got my mother. She was out with my mother. She's like, "Oh my God, Nana, you gotta get that for my dad." Now I realize I gotta send my daughter out with money so that she can get me stuff, because, man, my mom's just like, "Oh, your daughter, she's spending my money for you." They're pretty typical. So if anybody out in the chat has any questions, ooh.
Ron, I just realized why you wanted me to mute my mic. I just was cutting some stuff off the sprue and a little tiny piece went flying off into Never Never Land. And I'm sure your viewers would not want to have heard, would not have wanted to hear what I...
Was it Maine specific?
Was it what specific?
Maine, the state of Maine.
Was it Maine specific? No, I think you can probably hear this just about any bar in town.
I worked with a few Newfies before, and there's some East Coast specific sayings that are pretty cool.
No, this was your general profanity.
General four-letter.
Okay, I'm back to it.
Well, the damn knife that my daughter bought is too darn sharp. That's what I figured out. Harry asks, do you prime your plastic models? I'm not really a plastic modeler, Harry. Our friend here, Chester, is. I wonder if he does. I don't really prime it with the color. Oh, here he is.
I do.
What do you use?
What do I use? I use a solvent-based paint for primer on plastic. I find that the solvent has enough bite to it that it'll grab onto plastic pretty good. Sometimes if I'm doing big, large expanses of like a styrene structure that I build or something, I may go to something like Plasticoat, which is actually an automotive primer.
Oh, okay.
That's one of Ken Hamilton's favorites.
Oh, really?
But really, the key, I think, especially in these small scales, is the less paint you can get away with, the better. You know?
Yeah. And you really can't control that with the spray paint can.
Well, I never use spray cans. The only time I ever use a spray can is I will take, if I have a color that I really like, I'll decant it into my bottles for my airbrush.
So what do you do when you
Straw.
decant?
I just take a straw and put it up where the paint comes out of the spray can,
Oh,
and I spray into the straw, and the
Yeah.
straw it will go down into the
wow.
into the bottle. Spray cans, they just don't have the control that airbrushes do. You know, it just throws too much paint on the model. That's all.
What a
In
great
my
idea.
opinion. I mean, there's guys that are satisfied with their results if they do it, but personally, I can't get it. I can't get it right with a spray can.
Well, on a brick structure, I use a spray can for the oxide red, but those reliefs are a lot bigger than you find on a little truck. So yeah, I hear you there. I'm gonna try that. So you use a straw, and what do you use to thin it out?
No thinning necessary. It's paint meant to be sprayed. It's,
wow.
It's the perfect viscosity for spraying.
Oh wow!
But
You
it's
just blew my mind.
I don't know. I'm sorry, what?
You just blew my mind.
Well, I mean, I think perhaps maybe it's the size of the orifice or the amount of propellant behind the spray can
Yeah.
that delivers too much paint. But no, the viscosity of the paint itself is perfect for going through an airbrush.
Oh wow!
In fact, I prefer it to an awful lot of paints. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to thin it. You don't have to do anything to it. You just put it in there and spray it. It works great in my airbrush.
What do you use to clean your airbrush out after using a solvent like that?
Well, if I use a solvent paint, I just use regular. It stinks, but I use turpentine.
Okay.
It has a tendency to leave a little bit of a little film on things that protects your parts, the moving parts. And sometimes I'll shoot just a little bit of lacquer thinner in after that, just to make
Clean
sure
it.
I've gotten everything out.
I like the smell
even-
of turpentine though. It makes me feel like the cabin.
Yeah. I do the same thing with the lacquer thinner with my acrylics too. If I shoot acrylics, I'll clean the brush out with, again, a Windex.
Yeah.
It's got cleaning properties, so I use Windex to clean my airbrush. And then I'll shoot just a little bit of lacquer thinner through it.
So do you do that too for acrylic, or is there a different system?
Yeah, no, for just a shot, just enough to actually fill the airbrush up with lacquer thinner, and make sure that all the paint doesn't harden inside. If there's paint inside the brush, it doesn't harden up. It just all stays nice and fluid. I don't know. It's just a habit that I got into. I don't know if it's necessary or whether it works or what. I don't know, but
I got right into using my Awada airbrush a couple of weeks ago, and then it just started clogging up on me, and then I was just like, I got to talk to somebody who knows this stuff so I can figure this out before I move any further.
Yeah. Is that a double action brush?
Yeah, and Awada
Yeah.
clips.
Yeah. I love my single action brushes. My best brush is a double action brush, but I hate cleaning it.
Yeah.
You know, my single action brushes, I have bottles with just solvent in it, so I just take the paint bottle off, put the solvent bottle on, shoot it a couple times, and the brush is clean.
Yeah. Huh. Right on.
I'm
Thanks.
not a model. Okay, back to it.
Yeah. What a great opportunity to have Mr. Fessmeyer here. And thank you, Harry, for the question. This is a nice thing to do. I wish I had all these music rights. I'd throw on some Pink Floyd for a couple of minutes while we build some models. Or Patsy Cline. Mr. Fessmeyer is like a country guy. I'll stop calling you Mr. Okay. I heard you. Yeah, I cut this piece of card off, and I'm just repairing it here. Wasn't really ready to glue it, but oh well. I'll use the table to keep everything square. So, just like Harry, feel free to ask a question if you're out there. Yeah, this piece is already feels like it's already dry, so we'll put our last piece of bracing on this and move on to that. Now brace card too, because it'll warp even worse than wood does. Card will laminate on you. It'll delaminate on you, which is like where wood will grow, and you might be able to fix that when the card starts delaminating on you. Man, let's start pulling your hair out. Then again, if you got kids or eat cereal, your piece screws up, just go out and replace it. Here's Chester again. You got mute.
So what are you saying, Ron? Your kids eat their cereal out of bags now?
If they're not lucky, if they're they better stay out of this room, otherwise they will be. Kind of like those little boxes we got when we were kids, and you had to flip them open and put the milk right in the box with the wax paper. Now I mentioned this at the beginning of the show. If you're interested in chatting, letting us know what you build, maybe even get your let me go back to keep this active. If you're building something, you can share with us what you're building. The link is available at Modelers Guild on Facebook. And if you do go there and you're a member of Facebook, I don't think you really have to be a member of Facebook to get into the Modelers Guild group. I think you can just go to Facebook, search for the group, and see the link. But if you're a member of Facebook and I'm going to paint the trim white on this one. But if you're a member of Facebook, join the group. Either Bob Boudreau or I will accept your application. If you're from some far off country or something like that, well, we might ask you a skill testing question. Just to make sure you're a model builder. Here we go. Best way to do a one-off donation, Harry, is to you can look down in the description. There's a link there, or you can go to PayPal and send the loot to perry.ron@gmail.com. I'll put the email in the chat. Thank you very much, Harry. And feel free to ask more questions. We're just here having fun building our models, playing with our toys. Chester's over there shooting the bird to his pieces flying across the room. You know what would be an experience is when I start doing this old Bay District again. I'll bring the Newfie over and have him talk to you. Hey Joelle, welcome to the call. Yeah, I knew this plastic was going to be tough. It really doesn't like taking paint. I should have hit it with a solvent. I'm thinking to myself, it might not be too late. I could wash off the paint and hit it with a solvent, but then I don't know, I might. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. I got a little sponge here. I hope you're doing well today, Joelle. You're about an hour and a half late. No big deal. Tomorrow night will be at 9 o'clock Eastern time, which should be 10 o'clock Central, 11 o'clock Mountain. Or no. 9 o'clock Eastern time, 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock Mountain time, 6 o'clock Pacific Coast. If you're a left coaster, look out. I watched a documentary on Ken Kesey last night. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Yes, Harry. Ken Patterson did give me a shout out on the latest What's Neat, and that was awesome. Well, I sent him the video I sent him was a lot better than what he put on the show. I don't think he could. I don't think he was able to download the video, and I wish he would have asked me to give it to him in a better way. HO scale buildings, yep. This is that. I think I gotta find the right name of the kit, but been working away at it. Now, something interesting I did on this structure here is I made a stain out of alcohol, water, glycerin, and acrylic paint with the green. And then at the bottom I used a stain pen, an oak stain pen, to kind of get the dark stain to ride up the wall a little bit. I think it looks good. I'm probably going to add a little bit more stain now that it's dry, but I gotta sit on it for a little bit. I did this one earlier in the week in a live stream. I did this one off camera. We built this one yesterday while our home in miniature land video was rendering. Man, was that ever an experience. I'll be remembering that for a while now. I'll get my paint out. Now, Joelle, if you want to come into the call and do some chatting, and Harry, it's available to you too. Just go to facebook.com, the Modelers Guild group. There we go. Alright, grab my brownie. Well, the thing about if you join the call too, there is no chat, there is no lag between the chat and all that jazz. You'll be live with me and you can talk or what have you. Now, I don't think this yellow is going to work for me as it stands. I think I'm going to have to add some more stain to muck it up. Yeah, it really turned out well, Joelle. And I was saying it earlier in the broadcast. You might notice here, this is the stain that I created 2 nights ago, and it's still suspended. And usually when you make a stain out of acrylic with alcohol or water, it'll separate really quick. But I don't even have it on camera. I'm an idiot. But what happened here is I put a little bit of glycerin in there, and the glycerin seems to really mix the stuff up really nicely. Like, it's just amazing to me to think how just a couple of drops of glycerin will just make it work so well. Yeah, seal that stuff so that it see what when you're using the steel wool and vinegar stain, it's oxidizing as it goes. So when you seal it, you kind of stop the chemical or the reaction from happening anymore, so it lasts longer. And well, and it is because if you just leave it without sealing it, it'll continue to get darker and darker if the stain is that strong. Oh, look at this. We got the master at work at a table. Don't look now, Chester. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, but it didn't work at all, Harry. Harry said, so the matte medium is acting like a primer for the paint to stick. But I think this particular plastic is a styrene and not a plastic, which acts differently. There's different types of plastics, and or maybe it had mold release, lots of mold release on it. I don't know, but it just wasn't jiving, so I ended up spraying it with a my spray paint can, and I do that from probably about 2 feet away, and just it's not the best, but it sticks like crazy. Now the thing with this ink and alcohol stain, it really looks like it's super duper mucking up the yellow right now, but it does soak in through the paint layers into the wood and evaporates in some ways. And because I have it sitting on the back like this, it'll also sit in the grooves. So in the terms of the clapboard, it'll sit in the top, kind of like, so it's kind of like it sits in the shadow, so it's and then after the fact, if I still don't like the way it looks, I'll come back and dry brush it with a white or a gray. The link is on the Modelers Guild group. Well, I thought I hit the mother lode today. They dropped off some crushed gravel to put on the horse track. Except the crushed gravel was like was actually crushed. It wasn't sifted limestone. It was more like it was just thrown in a. It was crushed, and it really didn't have a lot of dust on it, which is the stuff that I look for when they drop that off. So I thought I had a resupply of my road dirt. And I was gonna make a video of it, but ended up being the wrong kind of stuff. The stone was too clean. So in terms of these Tichy windows, the acrylic paint is the primer. And we're going to do 2 coats. I'll let the first coat dry for like 10 minutes there. If you're watching this broadcast and want to see more of Chester's work, Chester and I did an interview just about a month ago where he shared some photos and some inside tips about what he does, and how he does it, some materials that we use. It was really a fun interview to have. There's actually a bunch of interviews on the channel if you feel like going to see them. It's in a playlist called Meet the Modeler. This is where I kind of go out and find the people who interest me and just talk to them and try to pull some tips out of their toolbox. I know there's a lot of other shows that do that kind of thing, but I really don't get into the how did you get into the hobby kind of thing. I kind of break right to the spot where we start building models and what makes your modeling tick. I like to talk about the art. I'm not really a chatty kind of guy for finding out what you did on your vacation last year or all that jazz. And Harry, you find out what works and what doesn't work, usually because I screw it up. However, and I'm going to defend this statement by saying if I didn't screw up, I wouldn't learn what's wrong. Sometimes I think that people screw up and they don't know that they screwed up. And maybe the real trick is being critical enough on your modeling work to understand that you did mess up. And that, why, how, and what will you do to fix it later. All those things, coming together is very beneficial to your modeling.
Well, Ron.
Hey?
I just figured I'd kick on my mic and say hello.
Yeah, we haven't talked before. Awesome.
Yeah. Just wanted to say hi to Joelle and to Harry from the other stream.
Yeah, and you know what? It's kind of cool that we got this group of friends coming together, eh?
Absolutely.
How's your modeling coming along? You've been troubled with health issues, and then school.
Yeah. The school was rather short. It's basically all done, graduated, it's fine. Got the certificate. as far as health goes, I'm getting things back to normal.
Good.
I'm still in a 3-year hiatus for the bridge,
Okay.
and
That's a trestle bridge, is it not?
yes, it is. It is a copy of the Portage Bridge, circa 1875.
Mm-hmm.
And when it burned, it was replaced by a iron bridge, and that bridge is scheduled to close, and they're replacing it. It's a CSX line,
Okay.
and they are replacing it with a arch, which is under construction right now.
Still steel.
Correct.
Okay.
The iron bridge that they're using right now is sitting on the foundation of the 1875 bridge.
Mm.
And as a matter of fact, let me see if I can do a screen share.
Up in the top right corner is what's called the hamburger menu, which is 3 vertical dots.
Yep.
Okay, in there you'll find that. And tell me when you're ready and I'll pop your screen on.
Give me 1 second.
Joel and Harry, if you are interested in coming in, these are the kinds of things you can do. You don't have to show your camera. Look at Billy's not showing his camera. I'm sure he's not. He's doing that because he's Adonis. He's gonna burn our eyes with his good looks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whatever you say, Ron.
Okay, I've got the pickup.
There we go. Oh, that's really cool. I like how that the girder in the middle is kind of like an outrigger.
Yes, it is at least another, I think it is like another 8 feet wider than the rest of them.
Mm.
And the fieldstone pillars that are on the bottom,
Yeah.
that is the foundation that the current iron bridge is using.
Oh, really? Oh, that's interesting that the fieldstone would be still stable enough for that to happen.
I'm kind of hoping when they take the iron one down, they'll leave those pillars alone.
But you suspect otherwise.
I don't know. But as you can see, each one of these are triple bent.
Wow. Oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah, okay, and I remember that from your photos.
Yep.
So it is for heavyweight. Heavyweight.
Absolutely. And when they first did a test, they took 6 locomotives and rolled them across the bridge at 5 miles an hour. And the bridge didn't even flinch.
Huh. That would be interesting to hear it creak just a little bit, though, to see it settle.
Yeah.
But then again, engineering is such a way that they don't want it to settle or anything like that. It would probably wouldn't have been a creak at all.
Right. I'm going to see if I can pop up another image.
Here, I'll switch the screen and then you can tell me when you're up.
Okay. Let me see. Where is it?
So, in answer to Harry, one coat of acrylic paint really doesn't go well over the plastic all that good, but 2 coats is usually good enough for me on a Tichy window. Tichy windows usually come really clean. However, if you do want to put a little bit of tooth on it, the dull coat's a good way to do it. So, well, it's the way I do it. You could use a primer, but I've never used a primer. But that's probably because I'm impatient. I kind of like to just get things done. I'm a modern day Bob Ross. Yeah. Except that at some times of the years I don't have an afro. The afro's on my chin.
Will you stop moving? Come on.
Oh, I've got a request for everybody who's watching. If anybody knows a good figure painter, I got a great big bag of figures. These are these are G scale, I think, and I've got O scale figures. And I'd like to talk to somebody to really get some tips on how to paint those up. I really don't have any idea of how I'm gonna do it, so I figured it'd probably be a good thing to ask you guys if you got any ideas for that. That would be a good tip. And if this is after the show that you're watching the video, just put the comment down in the video. I pay attention to all that stuff. Actually, if you're watching after the show and you still got a question, ask the question. You don't have to wait till the next show. In the chat or in the comment section, I'll answer you any question I can. And if I don't know the answer to it and I know somebody who does have the answer, I'll contact them directly. I don't care who they are. It could be the most famous modeler in the world. I'll just go there like I don't know he's famous at all.
The picture I have up right now is actually an artist conception. They actually sat there and drew it. And you see the Genesee River is the river that's lowest in the picture.
Yeah.
Pool view is actually up above. That's the Erie Canal.
Oh. So this is in your area?
Yes, it's just south of me, probably about 3 hours.
It's just south of Rochester.
Yes, it's in Portage, New York.
Okay.
It's the Letchworth Park, and it goes over the Genesee River.
Huh. Joel, do you want to come on the show? You don't use Restream. I use Restream to stream to all my channels. I'm gonna put the link in the. I'm gonna put the link in. You know what? If this messes up, we will figure it out. We might get some nasty visitors, but we'll figure it out. Well, thanks, Bill, for the history lesson on that trestle. So you've got your bents all made up. What's the hiatus all about? Space?
So far I've got 2,900 pieces, and it just basically got a little stressful for me, so I had to back away.
I hear that.
And then health kicked in, and it's like, oh great.
I hear that.
So, as my health gets back, I'll get back to it.
Yeah, I hear that. I find myself when I work on long projects like that, I hold my breath. And it's weird. But when I start getting stressed out, I'll hold my breath, and it's like it'll be like a minute or two before I'm like start breathing again. I never told anybody that before, but you know, you do get wound up for these long and tedious projects. Very true.
I just posted a link. I had to take the dots out in order to get it to get past the chat bots that don't allow links.
Yeah.
You allow the link because you're the creator of this chat. But
You're a moderator, though. You should be able to do it too.
I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Hey, it worked.
There you go.
Okay.
You got the power, man.
Ooh.
You know what? I want to thank you for your help. It'd be really hard for me to go out and ask people to do what you're doing, and it's I really appreciate it, and I'm sure a lot of the people in the chat appreciate it too. When that last Sunday when it got all nasty. Ooh, look, we got Joelle, and she's muted. Welcome to the call, Joelle. Welcome to real time. You're not in the 4-minute lag anymore. Now I put that alcohol over the yellow paint, and it's really grabbed onto the boards where there was just this where the modulation of the paint was light. You can really see where it's grabbed onto the boards, and I really like it now. Like before, it was a little too stark yellow, but now it's coming together, and that little section right here really looks good in my opinion. I got a friend who wants me to start up the website, and at the beginning of the month when the Patreon money comes in, I'll be able to purchase a. Who we got here? Hey. How are you doing?
Sorry, voice sucks.
That's all good. You got your microphone close to your speaker.
Yeah, kind of.
No worries. So to fix that, you either pull the microphone away or you put down the sound of your laptop a little bit more, or your computer. It won't do it for you, but it'll do it for me. This sounds like it's fixed. Or maybe you just turned off the mic. Now, I know Joelle is a hobbyist of many different arts. N scale. I think you do large scale. You do dolls like you see in the screen. Yeah, I got a busy month ahead of me. we just started planting, which is kind of weird. I thought that we would have planted earlier this year, but I'm not really a real farmer. I'm just a guy who plays one. I get told what to do and I do it. We had an early spring here in Ontario, and I thought that the corn was going to go in, but I guess the corn requires the frost to hit it at the end of the year to really make it go. So I'll be planting. It's probably going to be started this week when we got thunderstorms coming tomorrow. So once those pass and the field's dry, I'll be out for probably about 4 or 5 days. It's just straight planting.
Ron, this is a picture of all the vents put together to check spacing.
Yeah. I think I've seen that one before. Yeah. Yeah, so Joel, if you've got photographs, I know you sent them to me on my other computer. And if you want to share your desktop, up in the top right corner of the screen, is a hamburger menu, which is 3 dots vertical, and you could share your screen there. Now,
And this is a picture of the decking. This is what basically drove me insane. Each one of those pieces is only about 10 millimeters or what was it? 14 millimeters and 18 millimeters for creating the deck. And then I went to check that, and the coffee cup that's in the background,
yeah.
that section of deck is only 1/3 the length of the bridge.
Oh my goodness.
It can support that full coffee cup.
So you're doing that without a jig?
The jig is actually on the glass right in front of where I'm sitting.
Oh, I see. I see that there, yeah.
Yeah. That creates the straight parts, and then to create the crisscross, that is done freehand. But I have another jig. If you look close at the glass, there's a diagonal piece that the deck's sitting on.
Yeah.
That is to base how long a piece I need is. And I chop it at the end of that. It's sort of like a homemade chopper, only I'm using an X-Acto blade instead of a jig.
No doubt.
So 2,900 pieces down, about 3,200 to go.
Oh my goodness.
Not including the framework and the scenery.
Oh my goodness. That's insanity.
Yeah. I was going after it every single day after work for 6 months straight.
I believe it.
So I just needed to get away.
I hear that. So on all these other structures that I'm doing for my stuff, I put windows in the other ones, but this is what makes me go crazy is cutting windows. So Joelle, if you're interested in sharing something, feel free. I'm going to be making glue windows for this. I think you're cutting in and out. So your microphone, if you get it up close to you, it just has to be away from the speakers. You got some birds. So Harry asked, I go to the Hangout, but what channel do you use? There's only one channel, Harry. No worries about all that jazz, birds and kids and all that jazz. I'm good. I'm an easygoing guy. I gotta find a toothpick. I'll be right back. Oh, Billy's showing another picture. But you're muted, Billy. Oh, we got Joelle's picture now. We had your picture. Don't worry, we'll figure it out. You know, the best way to do these calls, as I've figured out in the past, is if you have headphones and you get rid of the whole feedback cycle through the headphones picking up your microphone or what have you. That's the best way to do it, but like I said, I'm easygoing. There you are.
You know, right now my camera is facing the top of the desk, but my microphone is about 90 degrees to me, about 2 feet away.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
as long as I speak up, people can hear me. But this image is a little more interesting.
Yeah. There's a little bit of a learning curve. See, for me, I've got my microphone over here and my laptop's over here, so that they're far apart from each other, so there is no feedback loop. So what I'm gonna do, so for these I used acetate windows and I glued them in with scenic glue, which is the super thin glue that's got a little bit of dish soap in it, and it clears up just fine. I didn't know I could do it. I just figured it out this week. And at one time I was told to use Future Floor Wax to glue in the windows, and Future Floor Wax has a lot of troubles sticking around. So I figured I'd test this out for a while, see if it would work, and if it doesn't work, if the windows fall out of it, I'll just come back and fill up the windows from the back side with the toothpick. I'll get this on camera a little bit better. Now I take it from the back side with the toothpick, just fill in the windows just like that. And I've got
Oh,
yeah, it's
you're not going to use a clear acrylic on it. You're going to use
my weld bond PVA glue. This structure here has all glue windows on it,
glue windows. Yeah. Uh-huh.
and they end up looking like float windows. And you know, some structures you don't want to see on the inside.
They end up looking like hand-blown glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
So they really don't. They don't bother anybody really in the end. People really never notice. And you know, the only thing I wouldn't use them on is big windows.
Yeah. Which brings me to I do like to use acrylic. I've got tons of the stuff and I just cut them to fit, and then I use Microscale makes what they call liquid tape, and it's a tacky adhesive. What you do is you can put it on and let it dry, and it's kind of like a contact cement. Anything you push up against it will stick to it.
Oh.
And that way you're not getting glue all over your glass when you go to set it in. You do like a sheet acrylic.
Yeah.
It's already dry. So
Oh my
you
goodness.
just press your window up against it, and there you go. You're done, and no goop on your windows.
So what's that called again?
Micro liquid tape.
Liquid tape. Okay.
It's made by Microscale. Same people that make decals.
Yeah.
Great stuff. You can use it too. You know, you probably wouldn't use it too much for buildings and stuff, but I can take pieces of vehicles and I can put a little Microscale liquid tape on it, and then let it dry, and then I can dry fit things. It allows me to take it apart when I'm done.
Oh wow.
You know.
That's a good. You know, it's nice to have all those little products around so that you can find out what their perfect application is and use it for it.
Yeah. Well, I use it for setting all my glass in vehicles now. It's just so easy to, you know, rather than use like a white glue, I used to use Sobo craft glue or Elmer's or whatever. Mm-hmm. And you'd go to set the glass and you move it just a little bit and you get glue all over the glass. You know, so I do like doing what you're doing for small windows too. You know, that's nice. That makes a nice effect.
Yeah, and it's just if you go from the back, you make a much less mess.
Yeah.
And then you come back with your toothpick and clean up the parts that are mucked up. And we got a message here. What did it say?
Something about a window. Okay, just my 2 cents.
It's all good. Thank you. Now, my daughter just got Eileen's tacky glue, and I figured out that it's a PVA, and I'm going to test that out right beside my weld bond to see what the differences are, if there is any at all. I have a suspicion that there won't be too many differences. And then Joelle, my wind wagon is 141 and need to make windows for the cabin's door and rear sections. Any ideas what I should use to make the window from? 141, that's just a little bit bigger than O scale, isn't it?
I think it's 1/4.
Oh, 1/4.
Yeah, my wind wagon is 1/4. I need to make windows for the
Quarter-inch scale. What is that? That's 124.
0.25.
That's a big window.
Yeah. I'd actually use your suggestion that you've done before of glass slides.
Yep. Yep. I think it's called Smoky Mountain Miniatures that you can get glass slides from. And the glass slide cutter. Let me look.
Oh boy, now we got it going.
Yeah.
Seeing you're away from your screen,
I found
it
it.
says it's 1 foot equals 4 feet.
Okay. Here, let me get back here. So, I got scale window glass here, and it's from SierraScaleModels.com. And I bought this about 6 years ago, and you can get the cutter that from the same company. I'm sure I've got the cutter in here, and what it is a case full of glass slides for microscopes, and it's real glass. It'll shatter like real glass, and I've tried it a number of ways. I've used masking tape or no, the clear tape.
Scotch tape?
Pardon, say it again.
Scotch tape?
Yeah, Scotch tape. You got it right.
Cellophane tape.
Yeah, Scotch tape.
Because in Canada, you're not allowed to say Scotch. It's a brand name.
It's whiskey.
Cellophane.
Sellotape. That's what they say in the UK. I think it's the UK you're not allowed to say Scotch tape.
Oh, okay.
Because they always say sellotape. Here it is.
Yeah.
Here it is. So this window scale glass, you buy this at the same place, SierraScaleModels.com. And this thing's got a carbide tip that you just... And it'll break on the scratch on the window. Really is nice stuff. And if you tape the glass to Scotch tape, you can actually shatter the glass. And it looks really nice as long as your Scotch tape stays to the inside of the building and you get the glass on the outside. It works really nice. And well, it's a challenge. This is a craftsman type material that takes a bunch of fiddling around to really get to learn how to use it proper.
A high learning curve.
Yeah. No problem, Joel. Anytime. That's why we do this stuff. Well, to make friends, but to share the hobby. Share the hobby. So I'm not going to do these big windows. Maybe I might do some scale windows with this. Let's do it.
John, here's a shot of the Iron Bridge. When they were doing the testing, they got locos on it.
Oh, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What kind of locos? They look like old steam shays.
Yes. I don't know if they're shays.
Huh. There is no channel, Harry, for when you click on the link. I'm just going to type message into Harry so we don't have the lag.
Okay.
So Harry, I'm painting this structure to do a review on the kit. I'm also doing a review on K&W Butter Co. Probably do both those videos next week sometime. But these kits are probably going to go onto the Old Bay District 2 project. Or, well, actually, tell you the truth, these both projects are going to go on the transition point between 1 and 2. Which is, it's going to have some nice structures in the middle there. I don't like the idea of having a split in the middle. So, I think these structures are going to be placed right on the transition between the two, and then those structures will be removable. So I'm going to take these window frames, I'm going to apply them to the window frames, and then we're going to take our glass and adhese it to the frame somehow. Now, this is one of the biggest problems in the hobby itself. How do you glue this to that? Gluing this to that, whatever the this and the that is always a challenge. You always have to have a certain glue for it. And I don't know just yet. We're working on the fly here. Just the way I like it. So what's this picture about?
This picture is the type of scenery that I'm going to have to do for the bridge.
Wonderful.
If you look up, way upstream to the far falls, where you see the mist coming up.
Yeah.
Just to the left of that mist, that's the Iron Bridge.
Oh, okay.
So this is the gorge that they're going to see where it goes down.
Oh, wow.
That's my challenge for scenery.
Oh, wow. Well, you didn't pick something that's going to be easy.
Yeah, this is a challenge.
Joelle said that she wants to get something that's going to fit inside the frames. So that's going to take a level of it's going to take a high level of accuracy to do, and you're not, like, I'm going to go out on the limb and say that you're probably not going to be able to do that with glass, because glass is so it's so thin. It's so very thin that it's really hard to cut it perfectly. So I would suggest a really thick acrylic acetate. Not the thin stuff, but maybe even the stuff that you get on packaging for stuff. You know, when if you buy like your doll there. I hope I'm not belittling it by calling a doll. If there's a special name for it, tell me please. But you know, the clear packaging that's on the front of toys or products and stuff like that, you might be able to cut that out fairly accurately, and it's really thick, so it stays pliable. It stays rigid. So that might be a way to do that. And then a nice... I'm trying to get away from talking about weld bond glue so much. It's like if they sponsored me, I would talk about nothing but weld bond glue. But I'm thinking that PVA glue, like Eileen's tacky glue, I have to test it out. I think that would go perfectly clear, but you just want to glue around the edges in such a way that you kind of glue on the back of your munions, or the back of your window pieces. Kind of like these window pieces here. And Get them right in there. I don't know. But then with the thick packaging plastic like that, you probably have a lot of leeway to put scratches in the form of cracks, or holes in the form of a rock going through the window, or a bullet if it's in the Wild West. That thicker plastic might be very good for you. And then another thing to consider is if you use future floor wax as a finish at the end or before to protect it, it would give you a nice shiny surface. And then alternatively, if you wanted a dusty surface, you could put on your dull coat. So that's an option for you there. And in a big window, I'd probably apply dull coat with the weathering makeup sponge. The closed cell makeup brushes, not the open cell that's holy. I gotta get real terms for this stuff. Cookie containers from the bakery. Now that stuff's an even different plastic than packaging stuff that I was talking about, isn't it? Because that's more of it'll crack on you. Hey?
It does have some flexibility. I would just have to test out what glue to use, because I know standard styrene glue, like testers,
Yeah.
it'll melt it in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, so it'd be interesting to see how that would get done. But, in the end, PVA works for a lot of stuff. I know people like to say that canopy glue is great for this stuff, but it's expensive, and I suspect that it's PVA in the end anyways. So that's a couple of ideas, I guess. It'd be interesting to see that project, Joel. If it's all scratch built, you're passionate about your hobby. I can see that. You've got all multi-scale, whichever tickles your fancy, I see. Yeah, so Harry, I give me an email after the show if you're having troubles coming on, and we'll sort out your issues. I'll spend some time with you, no problem at all. Happy to do it. You should have my email by now. We're doing a live show tomorrow at 9 p.m. evening Eastern time.
Fabric glue sounds like it would work too, Joel. I would actually just take a little piece of glass or a little piece of acetate and do a test. Explore, experiment.
I agree. So what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to embed the window into the wall and then put the glass on the back after the fact, because I want to try to glue the window to the wood walls around it. Maybe I don't have to cut it down so much. The less that you cut these glass slides, the better. Well, that's me saying that because I'm not very good at it right now.
Ron, just want to take a moment and say goodbye to everybody. I'm headed out here, so.
Thanks for stopping by. It's been a pleasure.
Sure, you enjoy yourself.
Thank you.
See you, Jennifer.
I'll see ya. Bye.
anybody wants to pull my window up, this is a drawing of the Portage Bridge, and this is basically what I had to start with in order to start working on my bridge.
Oh, wow. Now, where'd you get that from? Historical Society?
Actually, this is from an engineering manual dated 1919.
Huh.
And along with that, there was also the bent drawing, which
Yeah.
I'll bring up right now.
Oh, okay, for the single bends.
Where is it? There it is. I have to turn this sideways. Give me a sec. Okay. Anyways, there it is.
Just so anybody's watching.
Share. Back. Oops. Application. That one. There we go.
Joel said, wow, that would be cool for my on 30 layout. Oh, wow, look how those bends, how the footings look. That's really cool looking, eh? Now, how did you make the footings yet, or is that going to happen in the future?
That's going to happen in the future. I actually have, it's actually O scale fieldstone. And the bridge is N scale, but the fieldstone, I'm looking at this drawing, those things are huge. So I went to the store, I picked up some, I picked up some, some sheets of styrene, preformed, and I looked at them and I said, you know, these are about right. And I brought them home, and I needed 12 sheets of it to make all the foundations. That was rather expensive.
Huh.
But I was able to get a loan from a couple of friends of mine who want to see the bridge done. And so I've got all the stonework for it. It's just a matter of, you know, getting back at it. Currently, right now, let me see if I can. Yeah. Rotate. Well, I'm kind of tough to see at the moment. Hold on. There we go. There. At the bottom of the bent, you'll see it's already stained.
Oh, wow.
At the bottom of the bent, the unstained boards are actually my template.
Okay, I see that.
At the bottom of the bent, I still have about an inch sticking out.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is take pink foam
Yeah.
and cut the general shape just short of the actual dimensions of the stone.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to laminate the stone onto the foam.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just going to be able to stick the bent right into the foam.
So kind of like what I did on that K&W diorama.
Correct.
Oh, okay. And I don't know how it looked on the video, but that K&W retaining wall, I love it. I really do. Just because it's embossed. It doesn't look flat. I don't like printed card that's flat. But when it's embossed, it really fools the mind. So Stu, I put a link in the chat there. Stu Structures out there in the chat. If you want to come on the call, you're welcome to do so. We're going... I imagine sometime we're going to start getting spammers getting in the calls and stuff like that. And I kind of just opened it up to see if somebody does do that and to see if it's easy to kick their butt out. I am the experimenter in charge, I guess. And actually, if I hope we all seen the our home in miniature land video, the OHML video. That was an experience of a lifetime. What's that noise, Bill? Is that like a fan or?
Oh, you must be getting feedback from my my video card fan on my laptop.
Oh, okay. It sounds like an old ceiling fan.
Yeah, it's annoying. I'll cut my mic off, but this is a picture of the side view of that vent.
All three of them together because they're tripled.
Correct.
Now, how do they stick together? Is there's probably planks that separate them, or are glued to the tops of the cross braces?
Yeah. Let me let me see if I can zoom in on it. One. One.
One of these. Okay.
Okay. So what I started out with was the horizontals
Yeah.
and I don't know if you can see my cursor.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay. I started off with the horizontals in the jig,
Yeah.
and then I laid the verticals down,
Yeah.
glued all the points that the vertical and the horizontals would touch
Oh.
the verticals, and I'd let it dry.
So it's the verticals that are gluing to each of, or it's the horizontals that are gluing in between the verticals.
Correct. And then I turned around and pulled it out of the jig, threw it over, and put the second horizontal on the other side.
Oh, I see.
Let me see if I can come up with one of the single layers.
I'm just gonna pop over to my window for 1 second here to show something. I'm about to cut my glass, and I don't want to do it on the hard table because it'll smash. So I'm doing it on a piece of cardboard so that it can flex a little bit. Back to you, Bill.
Okay. All right, what you'll see here is basically the single layers of two of the vents. So there's 6 pieces here,
Yeah.
and it's just the 2 horizontal and the vertical sitting in the middle.
Oh, I
And then
see.
from that it gets stacked up
Yeah.
and glued together.
So it's the horizontal on the back of the next vent that the next vent sits on.
Correct.
Mm.
So it goes horizontal, vertical, horizontal, horizontal, vertical, horizontal,
Yeah.
horizontal. Exactly.
Oh wow. These
And
slides are the perfect height for the windows.
in the day of this bridge, when it existed, they used to stop the loco right on the bridge, and they used to give scenic views and tours under the bridge. Can't do that nowadays, but this is a picture of a group of people in the 1800s getting a tour of the underside of the bridge on a catwalk.
Now, in my hometown of St. Mary's, there's two truss bridges that we would walk underneath the trusses to get to the piers. We'd actually drink on those, but guess that's another show.
Yeah, it gotta go with the PG version here.
Yeah.
But as you can see, with the people walking right in the middle of the vents, if you look at where they're standing, you can see the triple beams coming out.
Oh, okay, yeah. And they'd have to walk around it.
Yep, the catwalk goes all the way
Yeah.
one side to the other.
So that's more of a maintenance walk, isn't it?
It is, but the railings were actually very sturdy, and they were actually designed to, at the time, this was the highest and longest bridge in the United States.
Oh, really?
So they made it a tourist attraction.
Huh.
And there's also a picture way down the bottom. Resize 200. Yeah. The hotel that you see it on the center right of the picture,
Yeah.
that's called Glen Iris.
Okay.
The people who own the major portion of the park of Letchworth Park, that used to be their homestead, and this is the simplified rail system that they had going across the bridge. So when
Okay.
you stop the train on the bridge, there's an entire deck on both sides of the train in order for people to have a great view.
Huh.
I'm just going to be using artistic license and just using standard Atlas tracks on top of
Yeah, I would. You gotta do that. You gotta use artistic license to a certain degree on most projects.
So let's see. I think I have a picture of This is a picture of the view that they would get from the bridge.
Oh, wow.
Now you can see what's left of the Erie Canal in the lower right.
Yeah.
You see the railroad tracks going across it?
Yeah.
This is a transition picture where the Erie Canal has closed and the Pennsylvania Railroad has laid tracks right in the bed of the Erie Canal.
Huh.
And you can see it continue up further on the right.
Look at that.
So when they stop and get off the train, this is the view they get.
That's beautiful, isn't it?
So,
Now I'll share my screen now. Hello, Roy Johnson from Queensland, Australia, and hello, New Haven Rails, and hello, Stu Structures. All I'm doing here is I've got glass slides. I gotta be careful, I can lose the glass slides in the blink of an eye. They're clear. So what I use is I piece of cardboard, and I scored the cardboard through the width of the window. I know that the window height is the height of my glass slides, so I just made it so I can neatly get in here and put the ruler down on my marks. Score the glass a couple of times real lightly. If you hit it too hard, you'll break it. Oh, there you go. I broke it, but it looks good. I think I might have done it too thin though. We will see post haste. I'm gonna lose my mind here. Ah, the window broke apart. See, that's why it's good to put masking tape on the back of the windows. Number one, it keeps your fingerprints off of the windows. Yeah, that is a fact, Joel. That is a fact that we will ignore. Okay, so I'm going to recut this first piece of glass that broke, or the second piece of glass. I'm going to throw this out because you don't want to walk around your shop with glass on the floor. Ask me how I know. No, don't ask me. Yeah, it looks like I am going 3 hours here. Tomorrow night, we're going to be streaming again, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. It'll be more of a North American show. It's okay that, this show doesn't have all the same amount of participants that the Sunday night show has. It's kind of nice to have just a few friends around to chat with. Earlier we had Chester Fessmeyer, a very talented vehicle modeler and diorama guy. So now I got this piece of glass slide. I got this window. I want to position it on the window properly, but I can't because it keeps on moving around on me. So I'm just going to use my scenic glue, which is a PVA glue with a couple of drops of dish soap in it. And that's going to stick everything together. Then I'm going to come over here to the side and try to pull it off. Get them to sit on top of each other. And now the PVA, the scenic glue, specifically to Stu's structures, it's got a real, it's not going to be thick at all. Like, whereas in some windows I'm using the full strength glue, in these real glass windows, I'm just using scenic glue that's 50-50 with water. And then I'm going to put it over here, 45, leaning up against a piece. And I'm just going to leave it there until it dries. I hope you can see all that. Hello, Kareem Clemens from New York City. Thanks for stopping by, and thank you very much for telling us where you're from. Fantastic. Fantastic. Now, if you guys want to come in on the call, I've been showing the link like a crazy person. Some spammer's going to come in here and start showing us his junk or something like that. And we're all going to pay for it. So if you want to go and find this link, on the weekends we're going to do a hangout like this. And if you want to come in the call, share your desk, or maybe share some photographs of what you're doing, that's fine. That's wonderful. Share the hobby. You know, Joelle says when she gets a nice mic, she'll love to be a part of the chat. Everybody's welcome. You know, y'all, everybody will get a chance. And, you know, some people are just going to get kicked out because they're just not going to jive with the flow of the show. And it's not going to be because we don't, I don't know what to say. But I think you know what I mean. So if you want to come in, the link's available on the Modelers Guild group on Facebook. I just put it up a few seconds ago in the chat, but I'm kind of scared, to tell you the truth. Kind of scared. So I'm just going to cut one more window off of this and try to... I got really bad eyes, my friends. I'm sorry for getting my head in the way. The last window I cut too thin and I shattered the bugger. So like I was saying to Joelle before, it really takes some skill building to get this glass to work. So I'm just pushing down on the ruler to keep the window from moving. And I'm going to take a couple of swipes with my carbide cutter here. And once that's in, now we just take the window and we break it. And it breaks along the it's not the straightest in the world, but now get this scale window glass, which is micro slides, you go to sierrascalemodels.com. sierrascalemodels.com, SIERRA scalemodels.com, and buy the carbide cutter tip too. So I'm gonna put this piece of glass up here, and I'm going to leave a corner off the side of the thing because I just learned off of the first one that I need to do that. I'm going to take my window frame from the window munions, drop it on top. We're going to use our scenic glue. Grab it. Make sure it's sitting center. Make sure the glue's over everything. Now, this glue is made by my Weld Bond PVA. I've been trying to start saying PVA instead of Weld Bond. And it dries clear. And it's glue. So it's going to glue that in nicely. So I'm going to put those off to the side. And they'll probably be ready for tomorrow's show. Now we're going to come back and I'm going to do some glue windows here. Hey Ron, how are you doing? Another guy from Australia. If you're in the call, if you're watching this on YouTube or Twitch.tv or anywhere, as a matter of fact, tell us where you're from. And if you want in the call, you're perfect. Where you're totally allowed to do so. The link is available on the Modelers Guild on Facebook, and that's 1L for Modelers Guild. Just put that up in the chat or in the search, and Google will direct you very kindly. So now I'm taking my Weld Bond glue, my PVA glue, which dries perfectly clear, and I'm going from the back side of the window. Back side of the window, and we're just filling in the panes with a little bit of glue. It doesn't matter if there's a lot of glue, because the focus of using glue for windows is not to really be able to see through them. Like you can see light through them, and the light will be refracted through the modulated, the wavy gravy effect of the liquid. And I just like to go from the back. I'll make a mess of the back and keep the front clean. Holy smokes, 3 hours. If you're enjoying this ragtag get up show of gypsies, please consider becoming a patron of the arts at patreon.com/Ron Perry. All the information is in the description of my videos. So see, I glued this window up, and on the front, it looks a little janky. I'll clean up this spot right here down at the bottom. There, and then there was a big blob at the top. I took that down. I'm going to lean this up against this. Now these are some windows that I did just before I started doing the micro slides, and you can see that the glue has already dried in the top window fairly nicely. Yeah, I can see the glue through it already. So it is a really super cool effect. I learned it off of a Craftsman modeler, and the guy does it on all his models. He does not screw around with acetate, plastic, any of that junk. He just gets his glue out and he has at it. I hope all of you have maybe checked out the the OH the on our home and miniature land video that I attended Thursday of this week. You really should take the time to watch it, even if you have to leave this and watch that, because that's an amazing layout, man. I'm telling you.
Ron, I'm gonna have to go. It's my turn to cook dinner tonight.
Hey, thanks for stopping by, Bill.
No problem.
You have a good evening.
When's your stream going to be on tomorrow?
9 o'clock in the evening. 9 p.m.
9 p.m. Very good.
Yep. Have a good night.
Good night.
Joel, you are more than welcome, my friend. You are more than welcome, Joel. Happy to do it. You know, I early on when I started making these videos, it often takes somebody to misunderstand what you're doing to make you think about what you look like when you're doing it. So somebody said that I was hogging the camera and stuff like that, even though I was the one showing the tech. I don't know how it all works, but I don't want to hog the camera. There's a million people out there in this hobby, and I want to share it with everybody. I want to share it with all different types of hobbies. I want to bring techniques from other hobbies into my hobby. I want to share everything I know, and having people like you along for the ride who actually model in every single scale, whatever goes by your fancy, is right up my alley, and I welcome you to be. And anybody out there in the chat, if you want to come into the call, you know what? Actually, I should make up a newsletter that I send out a link just before the show starts. You know what? I'm going to do that. If you are a model railroader and you like these shows, I'm going to put in the chat my email address. You email me and say, put me on the list. And I'll put you on I'll make up a newsletter tonight, and we'll set it up so that you can have your invitation to come into the call whenever I go live for one of these things. Hey Jason, thanks a lot. There's the 3 structures so far. So feel free to email that email address. I was asked earlier by somebody if how to do a one-off contribution. If you like the show, I like the show and I want to contribute to the cause. Like next month, I'm going to be doing this glue experiment. It's going to probably cost me about $30 or $40 to buy all the different glues to experiment on them, and I imagine probably most of those glues would probably be given to my daughter or something like that. So, it takes a little bit of funding to do the experiments in front of you and stuff like that. So I really appreciate it if you do contribute, but you don't have to contribute. This content will never be behind a paywall, meaning that you don't ever have to pay to watch it. And if you're contributing, you're sharing, you're helping me to spread it to as many people as possible. And that again, I just screwed it all up. And that again is down in the chat. All the information is down in the description of my videos. There's patreon.com/Ron Perry, and you can also contribute to PayPal. My Gmail address there works just fine. Last week I had a a gentleman send me a check, which is pretty cool. But then also in the same week, I had a bunch of guys say that I'm just trying to get rich. And I don't think anybody's going to make me rich in this hobby. So if you're one of the jealous types who are saying that I'm out to make money off of you, you really don't get it, and sorry. I'm going to leave one pane out in that window on purpose. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. Who do we got?
Hey, buddy. What's up, Ron?
Hey, Andy. How you doing?
Yeah, not too bad. Saturday,
Welcome.
day off. I'll take it.
Welcome on my turf.
Hey, there ain't no turf wars, brother.
I'm just kidding with you.
I know you are. Hey, I joke right along with you, man.
I know you're big. I talk a lot of crap.
I like to talk pretty well too. I follow everything that I can, anywhere I can get information in the hobby. Just like you said a minute ago, if it's military, if it's wherever you can get information, and from anybody and from any source. I just want to be a better modeler personally, and if I learn something, I want to share it. That's it.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm grand playing to conquer the world here, man.
Did you see the OHML video?
Man, that place is beautiful. I've seen some pics. I'd seen their website a little while ago, but the video tour was a lot more inclusive than that. That's a good video. That's just an incredible project.
Yeah, actually, I don't think I've seen too many videos of it. And he went in there, and I was like, the camera's sticking out my back pocket, and he said, the place is open, so we'll go over to the other side, we'll meet everybody, and then you can go back and just take video. And it's like, he's there with investors and stuff like that, and he invited me personally, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I'd seen you talk about it ahead of you going on one of your videos, something. I think that's some kind of project. I've heard a few of the, your fellow people from Canadian land talk about that project up there. That's there's not a lot of that happening in the world, and the thing that's in Germany is pretty impressive. But the way it looks, that's going to be up for sale.
No.
So
really?
Well, I don't know that to be true. There were some YouTube videos. I mean, it was on the internet, so it's got to be true, right? So, that's just some YouTube video where somebody was talking about that. But so it's really questionable what the long-term, what the viability of these big museum and display kind of situations are, like La Mesa Club and some of those. Who's to know if the money's going to be available for those, those projects that take tens of thousands of dollars a year to maintain. So.
Well, the thing about this project that might be different is that, Canada the population is condensed at the border, and so the 30 million people in Canada are mostly in the Toronto area.
Sure.
Like, there's probably at least 20% of Canada's population in the Greater Toronto Area, GTA. And so this is going to be right downtown where Canada's Wall Street is. It's called Bay Street. And this guy worked in Bay Street his whole life. So
he's got relationships with the right people. So.
Yeah, he rolls like that.
I was just up there a couple of weeks ago. Well, I was just up in Canada. Now, Canada's a big place. It's like, hey, I know Steve from Canada. Do you know Steve?
Yeah, I sure do.
I was in Vancouver. So, Vancouver, Seattle, Portland. But I was up in Vancouver a couple of weeks ago.
Now, Vancouver's a hardcore... Well, everywhere on the West Coast is hardcore, I guess.
It's different. It's like West Coast of the U.S. It's like almost a different country. In substances. Yeah.
I love it though. You get wherever you look, wherever you are, you can see the mountains.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's beautiful. I mean, absolutely. I mean, West Coast in general is gorgeous. It's so railroadable or modelable or something. You know,
Yeah.
it's just as
Yeah.
much as I model Appalachia, historic Appalachia. I love that, but uh, I could totally see the fascination with, and I would be more inclined to model something away from where I am. I would be much more inclined to model the Northwest at the Canadian border area than I would Colorado or New England or anything else that's outside of my area. It's
Yeah,
just
because
awesome.
you've got structures that are like from the well, not 1800s, but from 1920s that are still standing today and are still being used as businesses and stuff like that. Like you'll drive down like along the coast in Erie, like the along the Great Lakes in Erie or
Yeah.
Pennsylvania and stuff like that. And it's like real old architecture from the early 1900s intermingled with modern architecture, and it's really nice. And it's a lot different than the West Coast because of that. It's like we were so populated back then. It wasn't so sparse.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. The West Coast was rough and settled late by every standard, and the East Coast was well settled by 1800. 1700s, 1800. It was pretty well settled.
Yeah.
The
That's not
West
to say
Coast
the
was-
West wasn't settled before the 1900s. It's just that it wasn't heavily populated.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah.
And
And
it's-
Ontario's
it's
just
late-
like that.
And it was late in technology, so it took advantage of. Whereas on the East Coast, there's more canals and docks and ports and rivers and ocean fronts and all that. On the West Coast, the railroad was so well integrated into that society that it was critical to it. So, as a modeler and a history buff, that's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah. So what are you working on?
Building a tree around the tree house that I put in it.
The treehouse.
Yeah, it's just a little GC. Well, this is a horrible way to look at it because it's in. I don't know if you can even look at it right now, but I got spikes stuck up and everything to hold this. So there's a little tree house stuck in here,
Oh, I see.
and I got all these spikes holding where I glue. I glue this material onto the sagebrush a bunch of different ways, but I've used CA glue tends to get brittle when it's on this material. Here we go. So anyway, there's a little tree house there.
Yeah.
And but I wanted to get it on there before I put a bunch of material down. I got to build the tree out, the tree structure out around it. And I'm trying a new material working with or a new cement or adhesive working around the sagebrush and using contact cement. I've used CA, which is fine if I plant the tree and leave it alone. But as soon as I move them around or take them down to work on the track work behind it, because I put a spike at the bottom of them like everybody does, and as soon as I do that, they break some, and I have to get in there with a pick and put some CA on them and fix them and stuff. So I'm trying contact cement because it's more, it's got a lot more flexibility.
I had a big conversation with Michael Paul Smith. The large scale modeler.
Yep.
What kind of CA are you using? The liquid CA?
I got 3 or 4 different densities of it, 4 or 5
Yeah.
brands, and
Because I've been using
I'm not anti-CA.
I've been using this super glue by Gorilla Glue, and it's not gel CA.
Right, I use that too.
Gel CA is super heavy duty. Like it's really hard to clean it out.
Well, it's gap filling, so it's
Yeah.
great if you need to fill a gap in something, but
But
it's
this
okay
stuff-
for scenery.
This stuff seems to be in between, and it's thick. It'll stick where it is. It won't ride all over the place and disappear on you. And Michael Paul Smith was saying if you put baking soda on it,
Yep.
you'll never ever it'll never come off of anything. So if you find a way to have it penetrate into your plant material, because I think that's what you mean by being brittle, is that
Yeah.
it's not adhesing to the plant material.
Yeah, it kind of sticks to the surface. It breaks off and leaves a little,
Like a
light
skin.
shaped thing on it.
Yeah. I don't know.
What I've used quite successfully, I've got a little heat pot that you put hot glue pellets in.
Yeah.
Stick them in there. It's just a lot of work to clean, all the little strings and stuff. Hot glue is a pain to work to
Oh, I
clean.
hate it.
Yeah, I mean it has its place. There's things that hot glue is great for.
Yeah, for
but if
crafts.
it's not great at it, it sucks. And you find all these little tricks, that work great at one little task and just absolutely fall down for every other thing you try them on. Hot glue is one of those things for me. Where,
Yeah.
and I like, I use a glue that's real similar to hot glue, but it's not. You don't heat it. It comes in a bottle like Eileen's or something. It's
Yeah.
Fabri-Tac.
Okay.
And for like putting bushes and stuff on scenery, it's got the benefit of hot glue. It has a body to it, and it stays semi-flexible like a silicone caulk or something. It's really good for putting, low growth bushes in and stuff.
Now, you guys were talking about the micro slides on your fine scale show.
Oh yeah, the glass I use, yeah.
I got
Well,
that. It's right here.
Oh yeah, Sierra. I love that product. It's not for the faint of heart.
Oh, there's a skill that you learn on it,
It's
but
tough. And you've got to have something incredibly hard to cut them on, other than glass. Like a wood paint stick is my favorite. Yeah, there you are. Little stick of something solid. Because
Yeah.
if you just push a finger into it on like a cutting mat, they pop.
yeah, I can't do it on the table because
Too
it'll.
much even. Too much. That grain that's in that table will cause enough
Yeah.
diversity that when you hit it with the cutter, it'll break.
Where this, it's got a small flex, a very very small flex, but this will be able to flex with it, kind of. That's why you like to use card.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just have to have, a good solid surface that fills up all the gaps underneath it, so it's well supported everywhere, and you've got to work really slowly. But I started with microscope tiles. With microscope cover tiles that are, they're half as thick as a microscope tile, but they take so many passes to get a cut on, and that Sierra scale model stuff, 3-4 passes tops if you're being gentle, and they'll pop. I mean, they'll make a good,
So,
good finish line.
The covers are thinner than this stuff?
No, not thinner than that. They're,
Oh,
so
okay.
microscope
Yeah. I know what you mean. I
I
had it backwards in my mind. I was saying that you do 2 or 3 swipes on this and then break it apart, and the thicker stuff would be a pain in the butt. Yeah.
Yes, it takes me like 10 passes to cut a microscope cover tile with a big old heavy duty glass cutter that you can't do as accurate or delicate a work with as you can that carbide tip cutter. That stuff is like 3/1000ths of an inch, and a cover tile is like 7/1000ths, or I'm not sure about those numbers.
This is 007.
Okay, 7/1000ths, and a cover tile is about 15/1000ths, and a microscope tile is 30/1000ths or 40/1000ths. So, it's so a cover tile is roughly slightly over twice the thickness, and an actual microscope tile is roughly 4 to 5 times the thickness. They're not only are they hard to, any of those things are hard to cut, but they're hard to hide. Especially the wood structures that you and I love, where the window has to seat back into the structure a little bit.
Yeah, well, I wonder if those covers would be a good thing to learn on, because these are so unforgiving.
Yes, they are. And they're not for the faint of heart. I can, it's not one of those things. There's a lot of tricks that I learned that I will recommend to everybody. You should totally do it. You should. I don't say there's the right way to do something. There's a lot of ways to do something, but you should give this some particular thing a try. I would not say that about those glass. They are not. They are not for everybody, and they're not for every application. Like the windows you're doing there, that material that you're using is perfect for those, cross pane or French paned windows. But if you're doing a big storefront where you're going to put an interior in it, you need a big sheet of good pure glass. You can't beat the look of that stuff.
Yeah. Yep. I'm just gonna tack it in the 4 corners and be done with it.
Yeah, that's all I do too. I use canopy glue to tack it in with, because the canopy. Oh, that stuff you're working with is fine too, because it
My
dries clear.
PVA. I think Weld Bond's PVA.
Yeah, well, as long as it dries clear, it's fine. See if you use like there's a lot of glues out there that cause you some problems with that, but I use canopy glue because if I do get it on the visible part of the glass, one, it stays slightly rubbery and I can scrape it off with a good X-Acto, or if it is visible, or if it does get on there and I can't see it, it dries completely clear. Hence the reason aircraft modelers use it to glue canopies on.
I got. Give me a second. I think that canopy glue is PVA.
It is. It's a PVA type. It just has so PVA has a lot of different compounds. You know, like your argument against or between Elmer's and Wellbond. You know, I agree with you. Wellbond's a better adhesive, although Elmer's and Wellbond are both PVAs. It's just about what's in it. How pure of a mixture it is, how much polyvinyl, how much this or that. I mean, it's amazing that as a model railroader, you end up being kind of an amateur chemical engineer.
Oh yeah, there's only some ways you can glue some things.
Yep, but you play with all these different, methods and techniques and materials, and like I read a 11 or 12 page document from Stanford University on the adhesive properties of hairspray. And have learned some tricks on using hairspray, tremendously a lot more effective as an adhesive because it's clear and there's no spray adhesive that's as clear as hairspray is. It's a great adhesive, but you've got to do some things to increase its strength because it's not very strong. It's meant to go away in a day. So if you spray hairspray through a heat gun before it hits what you're putting it on, you break down the chemical bonds better, make it a more elastic as a polymer, and open the particle the bonds up inside of it. And then if you put leaf flake on your tree, they have a higher bond strength. So hairspray becomes as effective as a spray adhesive.
So what's happening with that fine scale show? Is Miles still on it or?
Yeah, he missed one episode. He'll be on next. We got a few of us now. I'm trying to speed that up and show off some different techniques, what other people are doing. I'll get to some hydrocals, some plastics, some paper modeling in time. I want to cover everything. My biggest thing is to stop people from being afraid. Go try it. You've built plastic models all your life. Great. Good, no problem. Plastic's fine. It's got its place. However, don't be afraid of wood just because you haven't done it, or paper, or hydrocal. Go try it.
Jesus, Murphy, the biggest darn mistake anybody's ever made in their life, the biggest darn mistake, I'll say it twice, 3 times. The biggest darn mistake anybody could make in their life is to think that plastic modeling is easier than wood.
Oh, absolutely agree. Yet people get comfortable with it, and they think, oh, I can do plastic, I'll just keep doing it this way. Wood's too difficult. I can't think of an easier way to work with wood. No. It's incredibly forgiving.
What's happening is they're not thinking at all.
Yep.
They think they know it already, and they don't try it, and then next thing they know, they're like, holy crap, I wish the windows and doors were wood too, because they're the hard part of the kit now.
Yep. Well,
like, holy smokes.
In other things, like in science and politics and everything else, they call it confirmation bias. If you already know something, you have a bias toward believing that thing you already know is the thing. And they don't experiment. And, that's something I give you a lot of props for. I'm a big believer in promoting experimentation. The internet's great for sharing information and for learning tricks and whatever, but there's no substitute for just getting your hands dirty.
Now I'm doing these big windows in the top, and they're kind of like as big as they're kind of bigger than I really want to do because it's really hard to get let's change the screen here. Show you. It's really a challenge. You get your glue stick and you got to go around the outside and glue all around the outside, and then you got to do a little swirl.
Oh, yeah, okay. Like pull it toward the center.
Yeah.
I never tried that stuff. I've seen a lot of people use it with great success. I need to give it a go. I'm feeling bad because I forget the guy's name, but
a craftsman model builder showed me to do how to do it once, and he told me don't ever do any other thing with these windows. It's like it's ridiculous to think about doing anything other than this, because unless you're going to be putting a family on their couch watching TV and you want to see what's on TV too.
Yep.
This is the only way to do it.
And there are times that I want to put a lot of interior detail in structures when they're right on the front edge of the layout or diorama, and that's where glass, real glass excels. But 90% of the buildings on my layout do not need glass. Acetate, which I don't like acetate much, or that material you're working with is absolutely does the job. But right on the front of the layout, that glass like you've got is pretty hard to beat.
Yep. There we go. So that's why you do it with glue, because it takes 2 seconds. 2 shakes and you stick your toothpick.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm bad for finding techniques that take way too doggone long to get. I will say I am not, by any stretch of the imagination, a fast or efficient modeler. If I had to do it professionally, I'd go broke. But I model, to have something to do, to spend my time doing it. So I don't, so I don't have to worry about how fast things are normally.
Yeah. No, I'll be getting some really interesting videos coming up, probably mid-June, from the OHML people. They're gonna send me some projects to do.
Awesome.
But I think it's going to be, because I just went there and told them the honest truth about it all. I don't really like to tell tall tales. Went with my portfolio. I brought them the post office that I built at Christmas time. So that post office is going to be on the layout. So now I'll have 3 structures on the layout, and pretty soon they're going to get me to do probably about, they said that they have 10 structures for me to do.
Very cool.
So, and those are structures that'll be like, I get a photograph, I get an account at Model Builder Supply, and just go at it.
And MBS has some pretty good stuff too. I mean, they've been the House of Architectural modelers for a long, long time.
Yeah. As Joelle just asked in the chat, do you have a home layout? No, Andy has a home layout, but not I. I don't do that.
You're getting toward a layout with that section of dockside scene you got there. If you just put enough track on it that you could run a train back and forth, you'd have it. You're not that far from having a layout.
That's all gonna go towards this business that I want to start. I want to start a modeler's hangout, kind of like a games workshop.
Yeah.
Where we're not a model railroad shop, and we don't really sell kits, but you could probably buy them through us, or
Right.
All the things that make it. Well, all the things that would make it economically viable, I'd probably be interested in doing. But the main thing is, you and I both know that the truth is I want a club that I can't be kicked out of.
Clubs are a really tough balance. I've been at a couple clubs, one of which was absolutely incredible, great club. But I've tried to participate in several other clubs, and I didn't have any falling out or disagreements with them. I just didn't like them. So, it was more like I'd go visit a couple times. I'm like, no, these guys aren't for me.
Well, you're walking around the layout, and there's a whole group of guys over there talking, and not one of them turns around to give you a tour or anything like that. Or when you go to ask a question to somebody, they know it already, and they're like treating you like you don't know nothing. Or you come to there with a model in your hand, you want to give it to them, and they think that they got to pay for it, or it's just weird.
Well, I mean, a lot of these guys, so a lot of model railroaders are very sociable people. A lot of them are. But then there's a whole other group that are just quite not.
Yeah.
And, you know, and I don't need, you know, the best thing you can learn in anything, you know, that's complicated. And model railroading is complicated with a lot of opinions and no 100% right answers. There's a lot of wrong answers, but there's not a lot of right answers. And you get these people that think there are a right answer, and they get that confirmation bias thing. They'll never hear any other way or thought. There's no talking to them.
I hear that.
Well, you get these people who are really one track, where they are a model railroader and they model transition era Santa Fe, and that's all they will ever care about. And anybody who models anything else has got something wrong with them. And I like all of it. I model a certain era in a certain place, but I like it all. Civil War era, modern era, European, Australian prototypes. Heck, I like ships and boats. I like engineering. I like man against nature. I don't care what it is, and recreating that in miniature is the only way I can participate because I am nowhere close to owning a private jet. So, this is how I can, exercise my engineering. You exercise your artistry. I exercise my engineering mindset. See, I see a tree as an engineering exercise. Not it's the same way to look at it. A tree is an engineering exercise in sorts. I'm trying to recreate nature and get all this, the way it would work.
Yeah. Yeah. So what color should I do my side posts?
As the trim of the structure?
Yeah.
So I've done it both ways. I painted them the same as the siding color, but I
don't like that
better the window color. Or a slight contrast of the window color is pretty good, like a lighter or darker contrast to the window color. That's not bad.
Buff.
It's hard to go wrong unless you paint them something drastic, so.
Maybe buff.
It's hard to, natural colors work really well. Always work really well.
Ugh, got it right here. I think in a few months I'm gonna buy an XSplit license because I think I'm finding the limitations of my OBS.
Yeah, you really need some codecs for certain things, and it depends on how you use it. If all you do is go to YouTube, they do all the transcoding for you, which is beautiful. But if you use multiple streaming like Twitch and Facebook Live, and I've got a system set up with a server set up in my data center where I can send a single stream up, and it'll go to YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, all in sync with each other. But there are some codec problems because not everybody has, YouTube has some really intelligent codec stuff.
Yeah, we've got, we're going to 2 YouTube channels, a Twitch channel, Vaughn Live and Daily Motion. Vaughn Live and Daily Motion, I don't even know what they are, they were just plugging them in.
yeah, I know what Daily Motion is. I don't know what the other one is.
But Twitch and Ron Perry channel is going to a younger crowd.
Well, Twitch actually worked better for me when I watched you live recently. I watched Live Channel, and Twitch actually had better quality video, a little more, probably a little more real time. It didn't have as much delay in it.
Yeah, the lag was much less.
Yeah, YouTube is not, it's not perfect, but it does have the largest audience out there in video. So you about have to do YouTube also, no matter what else you do. But the second to YouTube is Facebook, and Facebook is, and I'm not a Facebook fanboy, but Facebook is massively growing in video. They are challenging YouTube everywhere they stand still.
Okay, Jill, give me 10 minutes. Or here. Yeah, 10 minutes. You see, when I the thing that keeps me from streaming is I steal my son's laptop. And he's autistic, so it's like his communication device. So we're gonna paint this up Depot buff. We're gonna get this on camera and see how it works or fails, because that's the way we do. And then we'll give the computer to my son. I think we've been going for a few hours. Yeah, I do need my own PC, Joel. That's why I'm begging for money all the time. It's not to get rich. It's to keep doing this stuff for y'all. Yeah, thanks for that tip. I think this might work. You look at the difference between Depot Buff and the yellow that I used.
Buff's always a good color for modeling with.
I don't know why. It's the color that they use on I don't know. What is it? Is it a faded version of a color or what?
I'm not sure. I do a lot. I have a tendency to do a lot of windows with it because it looks really good contrasted against brick. So I tend to use buff a lot for that. It also looks really good if you use like olive drab for like depots or so buff.
I got
works for
something.
So many things.
I got something for you. I don't know if you've seen it already, but I'm gonna do it anyways. I've been talking about glycerin a lot for making a thinner, 50-50 water and isopropyl. Well, I was making a stain for this structure, and I made this stain Wednesday night, and this stain should be settled out and sitting on the bottom right now. Can you see this?
Yeah, I can see some particulate at the bottom of it.
But the thing is most of it is still suspended since Wednesday.
Wow.
And that's because of the glycerin.
But I use glycerin, like I do on my trees. I use them to cure these things with. I had not used it as, as a painting component, but I'm going to start playing with that, especially
play with it and make it part of your show, because I really think that it is the component that is missing in mixing paint. Like, it really becomes, instead of a splotchy paint that has lots of water or lots of pigment and it splotches all over the place, the glycerin kind of makes it penetrate the whole. It's all consistent. It gives it a consistency.
Well, I use a lot of Vallejo paints, and I have to use Vallejo Flow Aid, which is not an inexpensive thing to be buying. I mean, especially when I airbrush the stuff.
I know what the Flow Aid's made out of. It's water, alcohol, and glycerin.
It makes sense.
It's glycerin's that secret ingredient that makes water and alcohol perfect. The alcohol melts your acrylic. I've used it on the apple barrel paints that have gone bad, that gets all coagulaty and thick and unusable. I'm gonna put my alcohol and water and glycerin in there, and it revived it.
Wow, I throw away quite a bit. I don't use a lot of that apple barrel paint. I use some of it, but I don't use a whole lot of it.
And you do it because it goes bad.
Oh yeah, I'm throwing away half full, 3/4 full bottles all the time.
Stop throwing it away, because we just got figured out the thing. I'm serious.
And I bought like a gallon of glycerin, a year or two ago when I started working with sagebrush. So I mean, I've got, it's like MEK. I use MEK as a plastics adhesive. I bought a gallon of the stuff. I will not run out of plastics adhesive in my lifetime.
Just a few drops. It's not the king of the batch. It's just a few drops. And you'll see an immediate difference. And I learned that. I like to credit the people I learned this stuff off of. I learned it off of a Warhammer guy who made these videos on making thinner for his airbrushes. And his name is Luke APS, All Painting Service. He's from the UK, and he calls it Flow Aid. And it is much more than that because it really gives consistency to your paint. When you paint on plastic and you see spots where you can see the gray paint coming through, that glycerin is the stuff that will make it so that you can't see that modulation.
Well, and the reality is that's really kind of tough with a lot of the cheaper paints that that I like to work with too, and it's the flow problem. And I don't want to have to buy $10 paint. I mean, I buy some of the expensive paints, but I don't want to use them for everything.
Yeah, so check it out, test it out. I think the whole hobby should be using it.
Well, I gave it a try the other day. Just did a little batch I mixed. I haven't tried to revive anything with it. That's a great idea.
Oh man, I couldn't believe it when it happened. And then I smelt the bottle because I don't know, I'm a little weird. I'm not gonna get high off of acrylic. Don't worry about that. But
Yeah.
the thing is that it kind of smelt like Tamiya or like one of those commercial paints. Like when you open it up, you're like, it's got an interesting smell, and it smelled just like it. And it didn't smell like that before. It's like Apple Barrel should be putting this stuff in their paints, and they might not be.
They probably do, and sell it with a different sticker on the front of it for 4 times the price.
Yeah, exactly, right? And it's just a couple of drops. The cheap PG show.
It's the way markets and economies work. What it takes to make money is a funny business.
So, in other words, if they are making something that is 3 times the price, you buy the cheap stuff, add the good stuff to it, and Bob's your uncle.
But there are some places, I would argue that there are some places, some applications, where the good paint pays off because of particulate size and stuff, like weathering, freight cars, stuff on plastic. But 95% of what we do as modelers, you do not need $10 paint.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's all they use at that OHML place. They got Winston. They got all the stuff. They got this Stevenson stuff. I seen a drawer full of this stuff. Stevenson Professional Acrylic.
Yeah.
I'm like, I got that stuff at home, just a bit of it, but I got it.
When I use some of the more expensive acrylics, I don't know what brand these things are, but they're $4 a tube or something. For certain applications, I do, and I use oil paints, Winsor Newton oil paints to weather with, and those aren't cheap. But a tube will last me forever because you use a toothpick worth of it. But, when you're painting brick on the side of a structure, I'm working on a brick structure right now, I don't want to use expensive paint on that because I'm pouring paint into the wood. It's just soaking it up. So,
Yeah.
you got to know your application. There's different applications. So.
Hell yeah. I hear that. Well, Wayne just came in the call just good enough time for me to say bye. Sorry, buddy. And Joelle just said good acrylic paint has more pigment. Oh, thank God I'm a poor artist. She got lots of chats on the other side. This is a confusing thing, this whole Hangouts little extra little bit of complication for me to fail on. But thanks for Andy for coming in the call.
Sure, nice talking to you, buddy.
You got a cat in the background. What's its name?
Bella.
Bella?
Bella, yeah.
Get off the table, Bella!
And she's a good one. You know how cats are. They do what they want to do.
Yeah, she's looking at the camera now. Okay. So, thanks for everybody for watching. If you want to support the show, you should probably know how to do that by now. Talk to you later, everybody. I'm going to put my... Oh, gosh. I don't know how I end these shows anymore. It's just all... I had it all figured out for the other show, so I don't cut it off. I'll be doing another show at 9 p.m. tomorrow night. Hopefully have a pretty cool guest. Talk to you later.